Man. Woo. Woo. Says we're streaming. Hey, what's up, Blue Varro? How's it going? What's up, Pele? Pele's in the house.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
No.
I can see it. Oh, it isn't? Oh, man. No. It's funny. I was just looking at Discord and Lost in Space Things looked at the picture where Grok made me naked and he's like, looks accurate. I've seen your titties in a truffle shuffle before. Those ain't my titties. Those are way too smooth. Come on. Come on now.
AI slop.
What's up, Magnetic? What is it? Magnetic Cone?
Magnetic Cone. What
Charlie Dompler.
Yeah, right? He peeked it out. That
Valley
was crazy.
of Bran. Look at this. Everybody's popping in. Yeah. I wanted to leave them waiting just long enough that they'd think we were canceling. You know, just leave them right on the edge because everybody likes a good edging, right?
It's not bad.
Let's see. Okay, so let me grab the title.
Barnacules. Nice.
Let's see. Where the hell did my little control panel thing go? Share? Oh, there it is. Okay, I found it. Okay. Why can I not copy over there? You are being a bad dashboard. Let me do what I want, dashboard. Let me do what I want. It will not let me do what I want. Here, I know what I can do. Here, I can just click on the stream, right? And then it should give me the actual title. Here, go to review. Man, I hate YouTube's new layout. This is shitty. Okay. Let me go back, click this, edit title and description. There we go. Now I can copy it. All right. Thank goodness. Let's see. Oh, pop out chat. Got to pop out chat so I can see all my peeps chatting it up. Let me move that over there. Move that there. I should probably, you know what I should do too preemptively, because we do this every freaking week, is let me go to Stream Elements and kick the bot out of the room like 20 times and see if it fixes the bot earlier on. Yeah. So that we don't have the problem with the bot. Okay, so I'm going to do part. Okay, the bot has left the channel. I'm going to wait like 10 seconds.
Good day, Muhammad ELQ. What up?
Hello, cool everybody.
It's like a button up. It's by Dixon. It's a really good flannel.
It's nice. Is it purple or is that just the lighting? It is purple?
No, it's purple.
It's a good color, man. My wife would love that. Purple's her favorite color.
Yeah.
So, okay, I've successfully parted.
They're good quality, Dixon. It's DIXXON. But like this shirt's like $65. But I'll probably die in this shirt.
You'll probably die in it.
It'll absolutely outlast me for sure.
Yeah. Well, the way things are going right now, I think a $3 shirt would probably last you until you're dead. So.
Right.
All right, let's see here.
Shirt is purple on my phone, blue on my TV. You need to fix the color on your TV. It is purple. It is like purple, like royal purple.
'Tis the time to grade your colors, my friends.
Yeah.
All right, so I kicked the bot out and I invited the bot back like 3 or 4 times and left like big gaps in between. So hopefully it actually did it this time. And the way we'll know is, let me switch over to the YouTube profile underground control. Open up YouTube.
A darker purple and then black. Right.
Yeah, it's like, that's why I see it as like black, darker purple, and lighter purple. Yeah. I also like how it alternates between squares and diamonds. Like that's pretty tits. Like I like that.
Oh, that's because they rotated the fabric for the pockets.
Oh, for the pockets. That's what's doing that. Okay. I was like, I like how it breaks it up though. Like it's not all. It's usually a flannel shirt. The pockets just disappear into it.
And it's got an eyeglasses wiper built into the corner underneath.
That's a brilliant idea.
Little microfiber corner.
Why in the hell doesn't every shirt have that? That's amazing.
Because your shirts aren't $65.
No, they're not. They're not. Although I will tell you that I am poor people when it comes to a lot of things, but shirts are one thing where I will splurge a little. So guess how much this shirt cost? I mean, when it's not on sale.
I bought it on sale, that's got to be $27.
Yeah, this is like $30 shirt. Yep. And I buy them when they're on sale for like $20. But still.
Yeah, but it's like quality, right? Like it's not going to start pilling out after you wash it 3 times. The color is going to stay vibrant.
This shirt is actually pretty old. This is probably like a 5-year-old shirt, and it still
makes a big difference.
I love it too because it's like this wicking fabric that's like really stretchy, and it just like even if it gets soaking wet, it's like within like 10 minutes. As long as it's a warm environment, it's not super humid. It dries out immediately. Hey, our bot works. Yes, old Broger. Woo! Nice. Thank you for the 50 Danish kroners. He said, "Hello there, you wonderful people. Happy New Year." Well, a Happy New Year right back at you, old dirty Broger.
Gamer in the United says alerts are echoing.
Oh, are they? Oh, weird. You know what? I know why. It's because I have.
Chris's shirt is blue. It's an LG. Don't
mute tab. Okay, can you still hear me? Oh no, I can't hear you now. Hold on. Oops, I messed that up. Unmute tab. Okay, say again.
Hello.
Okay, so if the alerts are echoing, that means somewhere I have in one of my windows, I must have a stream elements open. Like, let me look around and see if I can find it. Oh, is that it? Dashboard? Nope, that's not
coming
it.
through headphones? Nah, Jerry's headphones aren't so loud that they'll come through.
Is anybody else
mic.
hearing the echo, or is it just the one person?
He's the only one who said anything. Yeah.
Okay, let me look.
Travis,
So,
even from my view improvement. Yeah, right.
right now I have my mic, and then I have you coming through desktop audio, so it shouldn't be echoing the alerts. Let me see here. So, the only thing I could think of is that it'd be playing through VDO, but it shouldn't, because VDO doesn't do anything with Stream Elements. Stream Elements is purely inside of OBS.
Do another one.
Oh, everybody's saying no echo. Yeah, do another one. Super chat. We need another super chat.
Oh, was it? Oh, does the super chats make a noise too?
Yeah, that's what they said, right? Is the events, the alerts that pop up, like when somebody super chats, they said it was echoing.
I thought it was your cheer. I didn't realize. I can't hear like your audio, right? Your desktop audio. So I didn't know that it makes a. I didn't
yeah. When somebody does like a super chat, it makes it goes ding or whatever, and then it plays. It like says, sometimes it says what they say, like it'll repeat what they say. Or it'll like just play a sound to indicate and then show a thing on the screen. So whenever you see a thing pop on the screen where it's like somebody donate or does super chat, just imagine that there's sound playing in the background just for a little bit.
Oh, I see.
That way, if you see that, you can kind of like pause.
It was for the events only. Both mics are fine. Okay. We'll see if when the next super chat comes in.
Yeah, if it does it again, I mean it's no big deal.
Hey, thanks, old Broger.
You did it again.
At Old Brogger,
just the lady reading the message. Oh, you have a TTS thing?
Yep. Oh, nice. I think I can explain it. Here, let me mute this. I have Stream Elements has its own audio channel for like alerts and events, but you're coming through on desktop audio, and I think it's mixing in desktop audio too, so it's like coming in two different channels.
Oh, I see.
So I muted the Stream Elements channel, so next time it happens, we'll see if it comes through on desktop audio. Plus, this is a great way to get super chats, right? Because to test it, you just got to like keep getting money from old Broger. Hey, old Broger, we appreciate it, brother.
Thanks very much.
We appreciate it.
This would be another event. Somebody became a channel member. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Blue Maro, thank you very much.
Although that time I didn't hear any audio, so I don't think it is coming through on the desktop audio channel.
The TTS is echoing. Okay.
Yeah, the TTS is echoing. Why is it doing that? I gotta have another. There has to be another window open somewhere. Let me look. So nope.
Always something. You can't ever just have a set,
bro. Always
never
something.
Right.
Always, forever.
We have to talk about Trump taking over Venezuela. No, we don't.
No, we don't. This
That's
is
not,
in 2026. We need to like chill a little bit and have a break because my stress
you
levels.
were on Twitch the other day, man. Good for you.
Yeah, I've been trying to stream more on Twitch. So
let's see you go to Twitch for that kind of stuff.
So the people here that don't watch me on Twitch, that's where I talk about that kind of shit is over on Twitch. But I will tell the people that weren't on Twitch the other night, the news, I did finally get the Wilford Brimley diabetes. I got the Beatus. It finally caught up with me. I'll keep it short. Total fluke accident. Doctor fucked up my tests, put in the wrong test instead of liver enzymes. He did my annual panel again. And this time the glucose came back at like 300. I didn't believe it. I retested it the next day after fasting again, and it was 300 still. So I am most likely type 2 diabetic. The doctor, as soon as he came in on the 2nd and he saw the results, he emailed me immediately and said, hey, we need to get you in for an A1C panel to see like how long I've been diabetic and like how fast it's progressed, so they know how to treat it. Yep. So I'll know probably in a week or two like what's going on. So Gamers Unite, thank you for the $2. Said testing echo. I don't hear any echo in my headphones though.
Tip $2. Testing echo.
And so did you guys hear an echo on that text to speech? Because I looked through all my tabs and there are no Stream Elements windows open that would be reading anything. So, and I mean, I went through like every tab. I don't see anything. So if it's echoing, I don't know why it would. That's bizarre.
I think. I know they're like 10 seconds behind or something. So.
It's not the end of the world though.
Gamer still echoing.
Okay. And
all right, guys.
Yes, echo from the woman TTS. Yes to the echo. That is so freaking weird. Why is it doing that? So, okay, so I got your audio channels muted. You come through desktop audio.
Only the TTS though. It says.
You know what? I have an idea. I'm gonna try this. Let's see if this works. So I'm gonna unmute you. Now you're gonna echo. So say something.
Something.
Okay. Yeah, I can even hear the echo on that one. So
Okay.
let me mute desktop audio. Okay.
I
So
I think I have a thing that can do that. This one. Echo.
Echo. Weird. I
Echo?
muted desktop
Echo?
audio
No?
and I still hear you echoing.
I have to
Why?
turn. Oh, I have to turn it on. Echo.
Oh, now I
Echo.
have to mute you.
Echo. The mixer does that for on me.
Oh, that's you doing that. Oh, that was throwing me. So you're
Okay,
not
I turned
actually
it off.
echoing?
I turned it off.
Okay,
it's
you
off
are
now.
still
I was just
echoing.
turning
It's just on my end. You're echoing shallow. I was like so confused. I was like, why is it getting worse? Here now, if I mute the tab for video, so let me try that. Okay, say something now.
I'm gonna say some things.
Okay,
for
now
you.
can everybody confirm in chat that there's now no more echo for aux? So I disabled desktop audio, and now I'm re-enabling the Stream Elements channel. So now Stream Elements alerts should come in on their own channel, and no more desktop audio. So you guys won't hear if I play something that's outside of Stream Elements. You guys aren't going to hear it. You're not going to hear any alerts in Discord. You're not going to hear any of that other stuff that always bugs you. So now it should just be AuxxZillary, myself, and the alerts with no echo. If the alerts still have echoes, then I don't know what the hell's going on here. Because that would be very weird. Because I have nothing open that would do that. It's got to be the gremlins, dude. It's got to be the gremlins.
Whatever.
But Gamers Unite, thank you for helping us test that. And also, Blue Barrow, thank you for that 35-month membership to the channel. Super appreciate it, man. And Screw Trump, first membership renewal of 2026.
Stream is amazingly good now. Nice.
Woo! Yeah. Maybe she just has a cool cyberpunk voice. That's what I should have done. I should just played it off as that's the voice. That's the voice.
I think it's this one. Oh, I have to.
Yeah, I like this one. This effect.
Yeah, it sounds like you're an old timey radio guy.
Yeah. Right. No, I need a more script. I haven't heard enough like 20s radio to really like get into it, but I like this one a lot.
It is good.
I turn that off.
It is a good effect.
It is fun.
Actually, you know what that would be good for is if you're playing like World War II games.
Yeah,
like you're playing like World War II FPS and everybody had that mod on. That would be awesome.
I might do that when I do Arc Raiders too.
Do it
as well. That'd be fun.
People think you're like a video game character. They'll think you're an NPC or something. You're like, "Hello there, son. I need to defend me to the left. I need support and the troops and stuff."
That's always fun.
Like a reverb chamber from a tube amp.
Weird.
Do tube amps have reverb chambers? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I'm sure some of you got like a little knob.
I know
on there.
there's
Goes up to 11.
I was watching this YouTube video of like audio studios and like how they used to do like echo effects and stuff like back in the 60s and 70s, like before we had like the digital circuits that did it. Yeah. And like one of the ways that they did this echoey thing is they basically took the microphone. They had two microphones, and then they had one that just had like a fucking half a mile long cable or something on it. And it created just enough delay in the signal going through it that it gave it like a slight reverb. And it created like this weird richness to the voice. And I was like, wait a second, does that add up? Because don't electrons move at like the speed of light? Like how different could the time be between something going through like a half a mile of cable versus something just going direct? Like, could somebody in the chat, like how could that make a noticeable reverb, or is there something else going on with that? Like, do they have like resistors or some shit, in line that's slowing things down? Because that's basically what they're doing. Is they're just trying to slow down the signal to one channel. And then when they mix them, and then the other way that you can do an echo too is this thing called a tape loop. So what they do is they just have a tape that's just got a small little piece of tape on it that's just going around the record head and the play head, and they can speed it up or slow it down. And as you're talking, it records on the record head, and then a fraction of a second later, depending on how fast the tape's going, it hits the play head. So that'll also give you a reverb doing this like little tape loop thing, and it's kind of cool. It just uses cassette tape ribbon, and you can adjust the timing. I learned that one from a YouTuber called Look Mum No Computer.
Yeah,
he's like this guy that has his museum over in like England, and he has all of like this old technology, old telephone switching equipment. He builds all these music machines. He's like a musician that likes to create his own instruments. And so he did that where he created like this tape loop thing that had like 5 or 6 different tape ribbons going through different playheads and everything all mounted to this board. And he could do cool effects by speeding them up and slowing them down and changing the channels. So he'd be like, hello, and it'd be like, hello, 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 hello. Wow. And it'd get weaker each time it went around, like hello, hello, hello. And he could like adjust it to erase the tape, like you put a little eraser thing after the tape, and you could disable it or enable it. So if you wanted, you could have it just compound effects. So you'd be like, hello, and it'd be hello, and then you'd be like, hello, poo, and it'd be a hello, 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 and you could just keep adding to it and compounding the sound, and then you turn on the eraser head, and it would like go back to 0. But it's neat. It's pretty cool the shit that you can do with just like, you know, a little bit of ribbon and a motor, right? It's like, it's not super complicated. Charlie Dompler said, aren't you guys pissed that Satch and Adele was complaining the other day about having too much GPUs and nowhere to plug them? Oh, fuck that guy, dude. Satch and Adele is a punk ass bitch, man. I'm just going to say that. That's what I'm going to leave it at. Satch and Adele is the reason that I don't even work at Microsoft anymore. Like, if it wasn't for Satch and Adele, I'd still be at Microsoft today.
Hey, there we go.
And I'd probably be 150 pounds lighter, and I'd probably fucking not have diabetes.
Where will PC gaming go when memory storage, GPUs, etc. cost too much? Looks worse than 26. Looks worse than 26 or 2016.
Cost too much.
I feel like there's two ways it can go. If it lasts more than a year, which I think it will. I think particularly memory and GPUs.
Agreed.
Memory in particular. GPUs, we'll see. I think Nvidia is not going to be they're still going to hold the top end for like, you know, for gamers and stuff, but that them coming out and saying 5090s are going to be $5,000 by like the end of this year or whatever, that's going to lose them massive market share.
Their overconfidence will kill them. Their overconfidence is going to leave a competitor coming and eating their lunch, just like Microsoft with Windows Mobile Phone.
I think this is an opportunity for AMD to snatch up a lot of market share. I think Intel is gonna be able to keep going with their GPU thing. Buddy of mine, he was just showing me on his B580 or whatever, the one of the Battle Mage cards.
Yep.
He was doing 4K at 1440p and getting like 100 FPS and stuff. It's a good card.
The thing is, unless you're like me sitting in front of a 50-inch screen from like 2.5 feet away, 4K isn't needed for gaming. Not even.
Yeah, right now, especially I feel like most, like the average gamer should be targeting 1440. Now, and not ultra wide either, because I kind of like my ultra wide, but it makes it weird streaming. For just playing on my own, it's not that. It's great. It's cool. But I've kind of kicking myself. I should have got a normal wide, like whatever it is, 2460 by 1440 or whatever it is, 2580 or whatever it is, by 1440. Because yeah, man, and it looks fantastic. You can totally ultra or high, you know, with very reasonable hardware.
So I was playing the Indiana Jones game, which is like at the time it came out, it was the most graphically complicated game ever made, or something like that. Very nice,
yeah.
And so I could play it in 4K, but I had to back off some of the fidelity. Right. I dropped it down to 10, and this is in my bedroom playing on the big 74-inch screen, but I'm sitting about 10 feet away from it, right?
Yeah.
I dropped it down to 1080p, upped all the graphics, and enabled like the 16x, you know, atmospheric anti-aliasing. And honestly, it didn't look any less sharp than the 4K.
There you go.
But with all the extra detail and everything, and it was running at like triple the frame rate.
Yeah.
So I would definitely, like, actually, honestly, even when I play Forza, and I stretch it across all three screens in window mode, in 4K with all the graphics turned up to max, it struggles a little even on a 4090, like with everything cranked up. Or not Forza, Flight Simulator 2024. So, I mean, it just struggles, but then you drop it down to 1080p, but then multiplied by 3 across with the stretch, and it runs so much better. And honestly, I really don't notice a difference. Like you have to really pixel peep to see like the sharpness. And I don't believe anybody's playing an FPS, and the difference between a block of 1 pixel and 4 pixels at that DPI is making any difference in your game or your ability to shoot something. I don't ever watch a video where somebody's shooting at 4 pixels and, you know, in the middle of the screen and they're fucking hitting something. Like I don't believe it. I really don't. So when everybody makes the argument, oh, you can see shit further away, it's like, yes, though it's technically true. Like you're gonna see the 1 pixel before it gets big enough for it to become 4 pixels and show up on the 1080p panel. It's gonna be so far away, it's like out of play, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So even 1440p isn't necessary. Like even 1080 is still just fine, unless you're playing on a ginormous screen sitting really close to it. And honestly, I can't tell the difference between 1440p and 4K half the time too. Yeah. Like I don't even have a native 1440p panel, so I'm playing with all the weird the weird shit that they have to do to make it work, because it's like a third of the resolution or something like that, so it can't do a perfect upscale. And it's still at 1440p. It looks good, but I'd still rather play at 1080, because 1081 I can do 250 hertz on these screens at 1080p. So like whenever I do all my emulation stuff, playing like the old Nintendo games, the PlayStation, the emulator, I have a button on my Stream Deck that will take every screen, put it down to 1080p 240 hertz.
There you go.
And I definitely notice a difference between 120 and 240. Like some people don't, but I absolutely do. There's some people out there that claim they can even tell the difference all the way to those screens that have like 500. Now they have a screen that does like 700 hertz or something like that. I think it's only at like 1080p. Like they can't do it above that. But still, it's like, I honestly don't think I could tell the difference between anything over 240 and something more. Maybe there's people out there that are sensitive to it, but like me, I barely notice the difference between 120 and 240, but I do notice a difference. I've never noticed a difference over 240. Like when I'm playing fucking Counter-Strike at 980 frames per second on a screen that can show, 365 hertz or whatever it is. I saw one, that was the highest refresh rate I've ever seen on a screen, by the way. I haven't seen anything newer than that. Though it exists, and I honestly couldn't tell the difference. Like I was like playing with the refresh rates, and I really couldn't tell the difference until I got it down to about 120. Then I noticed 90. You can definitely tell. Like I can tell the difference between 60 and 90, and 90 and 120. Those are pretty jarring changes. But I remember. I think it's like blissful ignorance in a way, because I remember when I was a kid, when I first saw 60 hertz. When I saw something running at 60 hertz, I shit my pants. Sure. Like, because remember, back in the day, like TVs were 30 hertz and broadcast was like 24 hertz. But like the video game systems, I think, were 30 hertz. And I remember playing Nintendo and all that shit, and I thought it was like so smooth back then. But then I remember the first time I saw 60 hertz on a VGA monitor, it was 640, 480 by 60 hertz. And I was blown away. I was like, holy shit, this is the smoothest thing I've ever seen in my life. Now it's like fast forward to today, and you look at 60 hertz, and 60 hertz is like mundane, and 120 hertz is pretty much like standard what people expect on a computer. Huh. Even gaming consoles do it, right? Doesn't the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 both do 120 hertz as an option? I believe they do. I believe both consoles can do 120 hertz.
Yeah. I think
so it's like, it's common now, like, right? TVs ship with 120 hertz, 1080p or 4K. And that's one of the things I made sure if you want to use a TV for a monitor, you have to make sure that one, it can do 4K at 120 hertz. You have to make sure you have the right cable, because you have to have like the highest bandwidth cable to do it. Otherwise it'll drop you down to 60 hertz. And then 4K at 120 hertz, and you can do HDR if you have the right cable. So you can do HDR 120 hertz on a TV, but you have to make sure the TV supports it, because a lot of TVs don't. I won't say a lot of TVs now. I think every modern TV that's come out since like a year or two ago has it. But there was a period when I bought my TVs where it was like you had to really shop around to find a TV that could do 4K at 12-bit color, 120 hertz, HDR10. Like, you had to find those four stats. And game mode. You want to make sure it has game mode, because if it doesn't have game mode, it's going to be leggy as shit, and it's not even going to be playable. Yeah. So, and it's going to do that weird. And make sure it's not frame interpolation. It has to be 120 hertz input signal. Don't, because a lot of TVs will try to fool you, and they say, oh, 4K 120 hertz. But it'll only take a 4K 60 hertz signal, and then in the TV, it interpolates it to 120 hertz by creating the frames in between. But that creates massive lag. So, and artifacts and stuff like that. Obviously, it doesn't look great. Excellent way to save money. Help people going back to AM4 because of this, which still is Super 8 system for game. Yeah, the component price, that's fucking everything, man. Like, and not just computers. Like, I noticed he said, what is this going to do to PC gaming? What is it going to do to console gaming? Consoles have memory in them. Consoles have GPUs in them. So if the price of these components are going up, and these companies are manufacturing less of the consumer components because they've got a hard on for creating the AI components instead, because they can sell them easier in mass and make more money, where does that leave consoles? Or is the next generation of consoles going to cost like $1,000?
They're definitely going to be more expensive, or be delayed.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, they're already talking about that. I mean, dude, the current ones have already spiked in price.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're more expensive now than when they released.
I want to see what a PS5 goes for now. Let's see here. PlayStation 5. Okay, so PlayStation 5, 1 terabyte, Fortnite bundle, $449. Does that sound about right?
For what?
Was it $399 when it came out, like the PS5?
Oh, I'm not sure. You'd have to look at some pricing data and stuff.
Let me see if I can find it here. So what was here? What was PS5 launch price? Oh, $499. So actually, the PlayStation 5 has come down a little bit.
Okay.
Actually, wait a second. This is weird. So on Amazon, this might be a fluke listing too. You never know on Amazon, right? Because I'm looking at another one where the 2 terabyte console is $749. And are these like refurbs or something? Because I just looked it up and it said that the MSRP for the PlayStation went from $499 to $549 due to market conditions. And that's as of a How To Geek article that just came out. Let's see here. Oh no, that was as of August 20th, 2025. So actually, it has come down. but it did peak at 550.
Dang.
But what makes me wonder is like, is that because they already created so many of them and there's so much stock everywhere? Because if they had to create more PlayStation 5s, they would be paying market value for RAM and CPUs and all that to build new units. And that would force them to have to increase the price. So the only reason that it's cheaper is because there's probably a lot of stock that's made that isn't sold. And so they're having to lower the price to do it. Because, yeah, I'm looking on Amazon right now. It's like $449. You can buy one. But the launch price was $499. And the peak price in August of this year was $549. So I'm like, how did it come down in price? I don't know. Can somebody in chat explain that? Or is that just like the Amazon effect? Because I'm looking through Amazon. There's a ton of PS5s for sale, all between $450 going up $470. The bigger, higher storage models, like the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 bundle, whatever, is like $605. That's really expensive. That's literally just the console in the game, and it's another $200. The controllers went up a little bit. I remember the controllers used to be $49. Now they're $66. So here, what about Xbox? Let's see. What does an Xbox Series 1X go for now? So not Xbox One. I look for Series 1X and it shows me the Xbox One. This is that bullshit we were talking about with the naming, right? It's like if you're you're a parent trying to buy a gift for your kid and it pops up at the top, oh, Xbox One. That's what they wanted, $299. You have to scroll down. And this, I searched for Xbox Series 1X and it gives me that first. I have to scroll down 3 before I get to the Xbox Series X. And then that's $600. And I want to say, no, there's no way that launched at $600. So that's definitely up. Here, what was the launch price of the Xbox Series 1X? $500. So yeah, it's $600 now. So it's $100 more for an Xbox Series X if you want one now. So yeah, shit's going up, man, and it's gonna keep going up. And especially the memory, and like we said, Micron's dropping out, right? So Micron's out of the race for consumer RAM. They're dedicating all their resources to creating AI RAM, or I mean, I should say data center RAM, but it's the same thing. Like they're all using it for AI shit right now.
Yeah.
So they're going to be making ECC RAM. So that leaves only 2 companies left in the world that are manufacturing the chips that go on RAM, like the actual RAM modules themselves. So, and like we talked about this last stream too, that there's only a few companies in the world that manufacture the actual RAM chips, and then the companies buy those chips from those 3 companies and integrate them into their RAM, right? It doesn't matter what brand RAM you buy, it's going to have one of those 3 brand chips on it, on the board.
Yeah.
And Micron's now gone. What are the other 2? The names of the
Micron, Crucial, their consumer brand. Micron still manufactures, but they said that they're not going to be doing consumer RAM anymore.
Yep. So who's left though? Who are the other 2 that are left that are making
Samsung
RAM?
and SK Hynix.
So Samsung and SK Hynix are the only 2 companies in the world that are manufacturing the RAM modules. And that's why the price has gone up so dramatically, because now there's a third less production. And you have to take into account too that those other 2 companies probably ramped up their production for AI to feed that beast. So they're probably manufacturing less consumer RAM.
The thing I find so weird about this is this is very speculative. Like this isn't a demand for today. Like there's not a bunch of servers sitting waiting to have RAM plugged into them. This is based on capacity, right? We've talked about this last time.
Yep.
That they've bought out the production capacity for 2026 and probably 2027 as well for data centers that don't exist yet. Like they haven't even built the data centers. They don't even have the hardware yet. Like what it was earlier, it was just earlier in the stream saying Microsoft's CEO was bitching about having a bunch of graphics cards that he has nothing to put them in. That's the whole problem. Is like I think it's partly a mild overreaction to the fact that capacity has been bought out. This isn't like it's not that like the shelves are bare, right? Like there is still RAM available. The trouble is that there might not be RAM available by the end of the year. Like consumer RAM is going to take a back seat to these proposed data centers, this proposed servers that are going to be built supposedly, and that kind of stuff.
Oh, hold up. Yeah, so Gentlestone said Micron will still sell to G-Skill, Patriot, and Corsair for consumer market.
Oh, okay.
So if that's true and they're just not selling as their own brand, like Micron directly, and they're just giving their chips, then that's fine. Like that's actually a good thing.
Though it's going to be a lot less. you set up sound clips? Oh yeah.
At Don T. Kellogg,
Oh, it's working.
$4.99.
You guys still hear that echo, by the way,
Oxy
with the
set up
text?
Sound clips on the Go
It's reading
XLR
text
yet?
right now.
What monitor do you use?
What monitor do you
Size,
use?
etc.
Size, etc. It is a Samsung Odyssey G. Take a look at the box now.
That's weird, Gentle Stone. So when they said that they were pulling out of the market for Crucial, their own brand, they're still selling chips to the other manufacturers for consumer RAM, not ECC chips for the other guys to make ECC RAM, right?
It's the
Interesting.
It's the 34-inch ultra wide Odyssey G3 or something. I don't remember.
I have, if you want to know what my awesome 3 monitors are, don't buy these. These are absolute fucking garbage. I regret it every day I turn them on. They're Vizio MQX Series 50-inch. And I bought them because they were, I couldn't get 54-inch because they wouldn't fit. Otherwise, I would have got the TCLs, which are better in every single possible conceivable way. But I ended up getting the Vizios. They're a piece of shit. The firmware gets worse with every single update. They are literally the most unreliable pieces of shit ever. They're dim. They're not bright. The backlight array is like bullshit. They call themselves HDR, but it's not even real HDR. It's like fake fucking emulated HDR.
It's
Avoid
not the
them.
G9. Here, I think I got it on Amazon. I can just look for you.
You have an ultra wide, right?
Uh-huh.
So is it a curved or is it flat?
It's pretty curved, yeah.
What do you think about the curved? Like, I've never owned a curved monitor, but I know a lot of people like them. Like,
It's nice.
Do you notice any like perceivable difference, or do you just get used to it like anything else? Like it's
I didn't really notice at all. It's the Samsung 34-inch Odyssey G5 ultra-wide gaming monitor with 1000R curved screen, 165 hertz, 1 millisecond FreeSync, blah blah blah.
What's the diagonal width or size?
Let's see if it says here. It claims itself to be 34 inches.
So my neighbor has one of the Samsung screens that's the 49-inch ultra wide.
Oh, that'd be too much.
It's
Dude,
like,
I don't want to turn my head to see my screen.
It's weird. It's like basically like it looks so narrow because it's so wide.
Yeah.
It looks like it's only like this tall, but it goes across his entire desk, and it's I want to say it's 1440p by 3.
Yeah.
If I remember right. And I saw that and I was like, holy shit, dude. I've never seen a monitor that wide and like that narrow before. And the weird thing is it was still like as tall as like a 24-inch or 30-inch monitor. It just was so wide it didn't look like it. I couldn't get used to that. Yeah. I'd rather have the big screens with the bezels. And I can't remember what he paid for it, but it was pretty expensive. I would say it was like $1,400 when he bought it originally. QA Library said, not sure why, but the UK share index passed 10,000. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, it's the same as the S&P 500 in the USA?
Oh,
I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what the Dow did because I just had to cash out of my 401k more. Let's see if that was the bad move. The answer is, I
probably good.
Sold when it was high. Yes.
Good.
I sold
Nice.
before it crashed down a little bit. Okay. So, I mean, not a lot. I mean, it went down like, I don't know, fucking $300 or 300 points out of 48,000. So it wasn't like a huge drop, but still, this is like the first time I actually sold without taking a bath. And I was thinking about waiting until after New Year's to do it. So I'm glad I didn't. However, it's been the Dow has been steadily rising again, but man, for the first year, it just stalled. Like the whole year it stalled. Like it never stalled under Biden. Under Trump, it just stalled.
Yeah.
But at least it's finally starting to rebound a little bit. I depend on that. That the Dow depends on like how long I live, like how I live and breathe by the Dow, because that's what my 401k is invested in. Wait, would that work? Would that work for a simulator? Oh, like the ultra wide screen he has? Yeah,
I think so.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah.
Most, and this is one thing that you have to take into account. If you want to do multi-screen gaming, it is a pain in the ass now. It's an absolute pain in the ass because you either do windowed mode and you stretch across all 3 screens and do borderless window mode, which is fine. Like you take a little performance hit, but not like back in the day. It's like maybe a frame per second or whatever. Or you have to set up Nvidia Surround, which works like shit now. Like that feature's been so abandoned and so not maintained. It's just garbage. So you can't do full screen. If you do full screen, it just pulls it back down to one window. Or the game itself has to have built-in multi-monitor support, which is super rare. Like the only 2 things I can think of is iRacing and Flight Sim 2024.
Yeah.
Support for you in the new year.
Thank you so much, Pod Lassie. Thank you for the 10 PLNs.
Yeah.
And a happy new year to you too.
That's the Zloty, if I remember right.
Don Kellogg asked if if you set up sound clips for the AuxxZillary yet? Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's why I push the buttons. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, that was the one he asked the monitor. I didn't see the second question there. Let's see here. So yeah, that's good. The echo's gone now. That's awesome. Okay, so now I know not to. I shouldn't be pushing through desktop audio, anyways. That's kind of a risky venture, you know, in case I accidentally go into a folder and hit enter, and I'm in like wrong focused window or something, and then like my porn video pops up, and it's like, and then everybody knows. Oh yeah, no, everybody already knows I watch porn. Never mind. That's not a secret. First TCL TV had a range of dead pixels, not just one pixel, and the second replace had a broken remote. Oh shit, seriously? So you've had really bad luck with TCL? You know, the only brand I've actually had consistent luck is Samsung.
Yeah.
Every Samsung TV I've purchased, well, okay, no, I take that back. My 74-inch in the bedroom, I did get one defective unit, and having to replace a 74-inch screen with a dead row of pixels is a pain in the ass. It's really heavy. But other than that one fluke where I had to take it back to Costco, get another one, and bring it back and install it, every Samsung TV I've ever bought is still technically working today.
Nice.
Like even like a first generation thick, like first generation LCD panel that used like fucking 500 watts of power. I still have that downstairs 1080p sitting over the little furnace thing down there, and it's still just chugging away.
I have this LG, this here.
Yep. Ooh, that's pretty big.
It's
That's a thick boy.
39 inch, I think.
39 inch, and it's that thick. Oh my god.
This is old. I bought this in like 2012.
So that's like original tech, like original LCD tech. Is it LCD or plasma?
LCD.
It is LCD. Okay.
Yeah. 1080p. You know, but it still works. It's fantastic. The thing keeps chugging along. I dig it.
Yep. I remember back in the days when I only used monitors and I was a monitor snob, and the best monitor configuration I ever had as far as monitors, not televisions, was I had one of those cool 30-inch Dell video editing displays.
Yeah.
And I got two of those once upon a time, and I took one to work, and I actually used it because I loved it so much. Work wouldn't buy me one, so they'll buy me a $30,000 dev machine, but won't give me a 30-inch monitor. Right. So I bought my own monitor and took it into work, and then I had one at home, and then I had two horizontal 24-inch screens on the side that folded in a little ways. Nice. And that's where I'd put like my documentation and everything while I was coding on the middle screen.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine, or I should say a coworker, but he was also a friend. Sadly, he passed away. He came in and he's like, dude, I bought this plasma TV, this 42-inch Westinghouse plasma TV for like, I think he said it was $2,800 or $3,000. And he's like, I'm using it as my monitor. It's 1080p, and he showed it to me, and I was like, holy shit, that's rad. Like I'd never seen a screen that big, like sitting on a desk. And I was like, dude, I gotta do that. So I remember running home that night, and I put in my order for the Westinghouse, and it was like, and it showed up, and it was so hot. You turned it on, you could actually smell plastic burning. That's how hot. And it ran so hot, it made the room like 1,000,000 degrees. But that was my monitor. That Westinghouse 42-inch screen with zero contrast too. It was like you turned it off and it was just gray. It wasn't even black. It was like light gray. Yeah. And but man, that thing, it was bright as shit. The color saturation actually was decent for the time. It looked better than my 60-inch rear projection TV that I had in my living room. But I made it my computer screen, and I used it for my computer screen for probably about 2-3 years. And after that, I couldn't go back. I tried to go back to a conventional monitor, and I couldn't. After having a screen that big, I just could not go back to a conventional monitor. So then I went from that to a Samsung 1080p, and then which was a 45-inch. Then I went to 50-inch 4K first generation 60 hertz panels. And then the last upgrade I did was the 4K HDR 120 hertz panels, which are the Vizios. And the funny thing is the technology got so cheap over time because the first screen, which the specs today are laughable, like the contrast ratio on it was non-existent. And I want to say I paid $3,000 for that TV. The next generation Samsung that I bought, the 1080p Samsung panel that I bought, that's still downstairs kicking, by the way. They're really thick one I was talking about. I used that as a screen for like a year, and I want to say for that one I paid $2,100. And then for these new 4K panels, I paid $500 a piece. $500 for a 4K 120 hertz panel. It does 240 hertz and 1080p. So if you're in 1080p, it does 240 hertz. But and HDR, again, not the greatest HDR in the world. It's pretty poor ass HDR, but overall, they've been terrible screens firmware-wise, but when they're working and you got everything worked out, and I even programmed a thing to go in and like change the profiles automatically and change all the settings every time I turn them on. Because every time you turn them off, they forget everything. You turn them back on, you have to redo everything. So I have a button that I push, and now it connects over network and pretends it's the app on the phone and like reprograms them just to the button push. And again, thanks AI. I used AI to vibe code that, by the way. That's something that I never would have taken the time to do on my own. Let's see here. Kal. Is that supposed to be like Kal-El from Superman? He said, but again, once you go high sense, but you really need to go for the premium model U8Q. Blacks are really black. Contrast ratios 1,000 plus dimming zones, 55-inch TVs, unseen in other brands. I've heard high sense is really good.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, even Adam recommended high sense, like for one of their screens when I was looking.
We got one of those. Had one of those, back in the old house and stuff. And it's basically a big Google tablet. It was really cool. Like it's basically an Android tablet, big giant fucking with a TV tuner built in.
Dude, I would really so rather have that than the shitty ass proprietary firmware on these Visios.
Like the TCL dashboard is so trash compared to the Hisense one. It's awesome. Like it'll remember what show you were watching in whatever streaming app, and it like shows up in a bar. Like, oh, you want to watch this one or this one? Or this one? Like continue.
Dude, I'm jealous.
And you hit it. It opens the app, jumps you straight to the show and stuff. Because it's an Android. It even shows up like in your Google Home thing.
Yeah.
As a device, you don't have to. There's no extra app or anything you have to do. It's really cool. You can change the volume with the voice app, the voice stuff. Say, hey, turn down the TV, turn it off, turn whatever. You can't turn it on because like it actually does turn it off.
Yeah. Dude, I freaking wish these TVs would do that. They don't. You know what these TVs do? You turn them on, and half the time an ad pops up.
Yeah, right.
Like it'll just switch the channel to another thing and like show you, do you want to do this or do you want to sign up for this or do you want, oh, this is some free Vizio thing, sign up now. And I have to basically push a button on my Stream Deck that pretends it's the app, connects to each of the TVs and changes their inputs, forcefully changes their inputs. So now I have a button on my Stream Deck, turn on TV and turn off TV. When I click on turn on TV, it turns on all the TVs, forces the input change just in case it's trying to sell me some bullshit or whatever. And then it sends a picture profile setting change to each screen to get them all to like match with the right colors and everything. So it's I shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to have like external fucking scripts running on your computer to make your TV look the same every time you turn it on. Like that is, and I've tried everything. I've tried going into the service menu. The service menu on the Vizio is the most limited service menu I've ever seen. Every other service menu, you can like turn off the home page, turn off everything, make it a dummy TV, make it a dummy panel. Nope, not in Vizio. In Vizio, you can turn off the color, the enhanced color thing, which makes everything oversaturated. And that's about it. And like everything else is like a static option you can't really fuck with. Or if you fuck with it, you brick the TV, right? It's like stuff that doesn't actually help you. I even remember my Samsung. Like when I had the Samsung and I had the LG, my biggest regret ever, if I could go back, is getting rid of those LG C2s. I had 3 LG C2 OLEDs with no dead pixels sitting on my desk. But it was the first generation firmware right after they shipped, and they were damn near unusable. They would do this thing where they would all dim at different rates, and then you'd move the mouse, and like one would wake up, and the other one would stay dim, and they were never the same brightness. So if you had one screen, you probably wouldn't notice as bad. But with 3 screens, it was so apparent. It was driving me fucking batshit crazy. And plus, it would do this thing that like you took a window, and it'd be like really bright and really white, and you'd stretch it out, and then it'd go gray, and then really bright white and gray. It couldn't do full screen brightness, and the firmware wouldn't let you do the thing where it's like you lower the brightness where it can be the same, but it's just you suffer lower brightness. It wouldn't let you do that. Now I return them, and that's where I had that big debacle with Costco, and it took like 6 months to get my refund after I mailed the TVs back. And it was a whole snafu, but had I kept those screens for another month, a firmware update came out that solved like 80% of the problems I had with it. And I was like, God damn it. I was so mad too, because those screens looked gorgeous. They were absolutely gorgeous. Now, they were expensive. I want to say each screen was like over $1,000. I think it was like $1,200 or $1,400 a screen. And then by the time I got my refund, a bunch of shit happened in my life that kind of fucked me over, so I had to go cheaper. And ended up doing $500 a screen instead to replace the setup. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do when these die. And I bet you they're going to die. I have a fan blowing on the back of all 3 of them to keep them as cool as possible to try to get as much life as I possibly can. But Vizio just doesn't scream quality to me at all. Everything about it, like even down to the remote. You know, you get this remote that has like 5,000 fucking like paid advertisement features on it, right?
Yeah. Well,
actually, this isn't even the remote it came with. I had to buy this remote. This is the remote I had to buy because I needed to control all 3 screens at once, and so I needed an IR remote that I could broadcast to all 3. It came with a remote that was like radio linked to it, so to turn on all 3 screens, I had to have all 3 remotes on my desk. That was shitty. And there's no power button on the screen. There's no way to turn the screen on and off by just clicking it. Like it's controlled just by remote. So yeah, anyways, I mean, I feel bad for anybody that bought the screen because of me. I apologize. If you bought the screen because of me back in the day when I first unboxed it and I had like the beer goggles on, like fucking, it's terrible and I'm sorry. Third Shifter said, I still have my high-end Sony Bravia from 2009. Dude, the Bravia line is badass. Like that screen will probably last forever because they're so overbuilt. It's just like Samsung's top-of-the-line TV is a little thicker and the whole back of the TV is like metal and you can just tell it's quality. Like you can tell that they really upped the level of parts that they used on it and the cooling. Their cheaper screens run like 1,000,000 degrees and radiant heating is the only thing that cools them. Like the heat rising out of the top sucks in cool air from the bottom. So if you have it up against a wall or it's a hot area where there's like a heating vent or a register or whatever, it'll basically make the backlights start ungluing and popping off over the years. That's what happened to my 3 screens. My old 3 Samsungs that I replaced with these. The whole reason I replaced them is because the backlights for the panels were actually popping off. So like you could see all these hot spots all over the panel in a grid formation. And it's because the glue that holds those little the lenses on the lights would get too hot and fail over time. And then the lens would fall off into the bottom of the screen. And then it was just an LED blasting directly through the panel in that area. So it looked like all my screens looked like checkerboards. And I found a YouTube video where a guy actually fixed it. And I was like, I'm not even going to try that. Like he literally ripped the whole screen apart. He went and got his own glue. He lined them up and re-glued the lenses. And it actually looked pretty good in the end. It wasn't perfect. But I'm like, I have no idea how he did that because the lenses are normally placed by like a CNC arm because the angle has to be like within microns. Otherwise, it'll create like this weird shadowing effect, this like shadow mask effect. Sony be using Samsung panels. That's true. They overdrive them though. Sony overdrives the panels. So if you buy a Sony TV, they use a Samsung panel and they install better cooling, and then they overdrive them. So like when I was back shopping for TVs, I looked at the Sonys that had a higher contrast ratio and a higher brightness, and I was like, but they had the exact same panels. Like when you looked up the panel model number, and I was like, how are they doing that? And it's because they do a lot more cooling. Like they'll do active cooling. Some of them have fans in them. Some of them they put a big heavy heat sink on the back of the panel and the back of the lighting array. And it just sucks that heat away so that they can drive it so much harder. It makes me wonder, like, why... It'd be cool if the firmware would let me overdrive, like, these screens. Because I have a fan blowing across the back of them. Like it's like a giant box fan. And it's built like I built it so the air goes around, pinned against the wall and comes out. So it's like a pressurized stream of air. And I was like, I wonder if they would just let me go into the firmware and be like, yeah, fuck the warranty. I just want to overdrive these things by like 20%. Right. And it would generate more heat, but I'd be able to dissipate that heat. So they'd probably last just fine. I don't need them to last forever. I just need them to last for like, 5 or 8 years. Thank God the previous owner of my Sony 43 was careful, so the TV looks great overall. No, that's great when you can get a deal on the secondhand market. TVs are just so cheap now compared to what they used to be. Like I remember back when I bought a tube TV. Like when I moved out of my parents' house, I bought a 25-inch Magnavox tube TV, and I want to say that fucking thing was like $500 or $600, and now today you can buy 80-inch fucking 4K no name Hisense panel for like under $1,000, like $900, $800 or $900. As a matter of fact, I think I saw a 70-inch. It was like a 75-inch 1080p for like $450. Like it was like old stock. But it was like, for $450, you could buy like a 75-inch 1080p screen and like put it in your theater room. And it's like, yeah, sure, it's not 4K, big whoop, right? Like, I'd still, given the choice, I would rather have a huge screen like that in my theater room than a smaller screen with more resolution. Because honestly, I'm not going to notice sitting that far away from it. Diego Oliveira Cabral, I don't know if I even got close on that one. He said, I use a white label ultra-wide IPS curve 34-inch monitor from a local label Kabum. I pray to it not to die. I mean, it's kind of cool that you got an IPS curved screen as a white level screen, because an IPS, first of all, it's IPS and it's a bendable LCD, right? Yeah. So those are two expensive features in the LCD world. So
very nice.
I'd say that if you looked up the panel, it's probably not a bad panel. It's probably a quality panel. And then Kal-El said he coincidentally have returned 2 TCL TVs dead on arrival. I guess everybody's had a bad run with some brand or another, depending on what you deal with. But I'll tell you right now, Samsung has been the least problematic for me in my journeys. And I've done Samsung, LG, Vizio. I never did the, what was that cheap one that Costco sold? The off-brand Costco. I thought it also started with a V. Was that Vizio? fuck, if that's Vizio, then I broke my own rule, because I swear to God I was never going to buy one of those back when they had them at Costco, and because they looked like they looked so bad back then sitting next to the name brand screens. That was basically like, if you can't afford the name brand screen, here's your option, so you can still say you have a big screen, but it looks like shit. Although I will say my most expensive screen I ever bought was my 60-inch 4x3 rear projection Sony TV that had 3 color CRTs. So it had a red, green, and blue actual CRT in it that was 1080p. So high resolution CRTs, and they all converged together on this like one huge 65-inch 4x3 screen. And it had the coolest feature I'd ever seen. I paid $4,000 for it at Magnolia Hi-Fi back when I got my first credit card when I worked at Microsoft. And it was kind of like my purchase, like, oh, I've arrived, you know. I finally got out of the gutter that I grew up in. So I get this TV on credit, and it was in this tiny little apartment, so it was super imposing. Like, you could only sit like 3 feet away from it because the wall with my couch and my little kitchen. I mean, you almost couldn't walk by the TV and the table. You almost had to move the table out of the way. But I freaking loved that thing. I had it the whole time I was living in the apartments. When I moved into this house, I had it for about another 3 years before I ended up getting that plasma screen. But it was pretty amazing. It had a feature on it, though, that I'd never seen on another TV. It could turn from 4x3 to 16:9. And not by just losing resolution and putting black bars at the top of the screen. It would physically bend the lens and compress the image down. And you'd see it get brighter, like, because it's the same amount of light in a smaller area, so it gets brighter. So it would like go by 4x3, and you'd hear the motors go, and it'd go down to 16:9, and then there'd be no light at the top or bottom. If you turned off the lights in the room, there was no glow. Like, even if you have bars at the screen, even with modern TVs, if you have a black bar, some light radiates from it, unless it's like a OLED. But this TV could do that. It could drop down to like 16:9, and you turn out all the lights, and it felt like you're at a movie theater, and it was like super, super bright, super, super crisp. I absolutely loved it. But the thing I didn't love about it was, because it wasn't a true rear projection, like where you put the bulb in it and it like goes through an LCD screen or a DLP. It wasn't one of those, so you couldn't just replace a bulb. If one of the CRTs wears out, and they do wear out right over time, just like anything else. If the CRT wears out, you have to replace the entire CRT module. And for that TV, the CRT module was like $1,000 per module, and there was 3 of them. So when the screen started getting kind of tired, I ended up throwing it up on a local group and selling it to somebody. I told them exactly. I showed them the TV. I turned them on. I showed them the weak thing. They're like, no problem. We'll just turn down the red and blue channel to even it out, because that's kind of what I was doing anyways. And it was still plenty bright enough because it was such a bright TV. But yeah, I pawned that off because I was like, I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to drag that to the dump when it died. Leeward said, yeah, you can get a great 4K 120 hertz 65 mini LED TV for around $700. Wait, a mini LED? Am I reading that right? A mini LED screen you can get for around $700?
Like, TVs are like the only thing that have actually gotten cheaper.
That's crazy. Yeah, you're right. It's like, what else has gotten cheaper? Phones get more expensive. Like, phones are the most expensive they've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
What other technology? Microwaves? Actually, microwaves got a little bit cheaper. You can buy a microwave now for like $50. I remember back when I was a kid, microwaves were like almost $1,000. But yeah, I can't really think of, like, other than TVs, like as far as daily electronics, what has really gone down? I mean, computers. You could still argue computers, even though they're going back up in price. I remember when I was a kid, my 286 12 megahertz with a 640 by 480 screen was $2,800. So, and that was like at the time, that was actually a fairly slow computer. Like, a high-end computer could easily run you $5,000 to $10,000. But then again, I guess today you could pretty easily build a $10,000 gaming computer. So I don't know, maybe, but you can buy, that's the thing. You can buy a computer cheap today. Like, if you want, you can buy a computer. Well, before all the pricing went up recently, you could build a reasonably good computer for what, $500, $600, like when everything was at its lowest, like in the last year or two. So if you could build a computer for $500, you couldn't do that back in the day. Like, you weren't building an IBM PC compatible for anything under like $2,000 when I was a kid. So the only thing you could get cheap were those basic computers, like the Texas Instrument. Yeah, or what's that?
Like, dude, you're getting a Dell.
Yeah, dude,
right? Like $800 freaking weak ass,
or a Packard Bell, or the Packard Bell. I remember everybody had a Packard Bell when I was a kid.
Right.
I was the only one that had a Laser PAL 286. Everybody else had the Packard Bell, and I was kind of jelly. But nowadays it's like you can get a computer that's fairly powerful that plays games and everything for around $1,000 or under $1,000. Back then, for $1,000, you'd get like a fucking Commodore 64, a screen, and a drive.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say when the Commodore first came out, it was pretty expensive. I want to say it was like $300 or $400 just for the computer, and then you had to get the tape drive, you had to get the monitor. That's pretty much the two accessories that I knew everybody had, but I know there was other ones too. I never got the Commodore though. I didn't get the Commodore until I was in my 20s, and then I bought one just to say I had one. I still have a TI 99 4A though. For those of you guys that know the Texas Instrument TI 99 4A, I do have one of those, and I have an Apple II GS out in my shed, all packed up. I've never unpacked it. I bought it. For all I know, there's bricks in the box. I bought it from a guy, like a guy who lives up the hill from me, on a local Facebook group. He said, "Oh, I got it all packaged up. I haven't taken it out in like 10 years." He's like, "I'm going to sell it." And so I just went and bought it sight unseen. Box is still sealed up, and it's been in my garage for like the last 12. Like, no, it's older than Xander. I bought it before Xander was born. So it's over 15 years I bought this thing that's still been sitting in the box, and I never opened it up. So I'm going to laugh. It wasn't expensive. I think I paid the dude like $50 for it. But cool. I should open that box someday, like just as like a time capsule, right? Be like, I bought this like 15 years ago. I even remember leaving the dude's house. I got stung by a bee and it hurt like hell on my neck. But he said he wasn't sure. He knew the computer was in the box, and he said he knew the screen was in the box for the Apple II GS. But he said that there might be other things in there. And so I don't know what the other things are. I've never opened it. So for all I know, there could be a dot matrix printer in there. There could be an extra floppy drive. There could be a bunch of software. Like, I really don't know. I never opened it up. I meant to open it up because I was going to do this whole retro computer thing. That's why I bought it. And then I got pulled off of that and, chased a squirrel, and it never got opened. Would be a great lazy game review unboxing video. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Top cost 4,500. Weighed 10 to 20, carried the batteries. Oh, sure. My dad had this old, it was like a briefcase laptop.
I had the same one.
Beige thing. Screen was probably about like this big. Yep. Orange text, black screen, orange text.
Let me guess. Keyboard folded down from the front, and there was like two floppy drives, one on each side. Yep.
I don't know if it had two, but definitely I remember one on the right.
Yep.
Thing probably weighed like 20 pounds. Yeah.
No hard drive though, right? It was like purely run off disk. Do you remember? Because the one I had was only disk. You had two floppy drives because you had to put one disk in to boot the operating system, and then the other drive was for like doing the other disks.
I know he had a Zenith like all-in-one thing that took the big 5 1/4 floppies, and I actually got that to work. He was struggling, couldn't figure it out, and that was fun. But it was like it's supposed to sit on a desktop. The whole thing was like one big case. The keyboard, everything was all one piece.
Yeah, it was like 40 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Zenith. Mine wasn't a Zenith, but it was same form factor.
Separate from the briefcase PC. Because that one only ran on the discs. Like, you turn it on and nothing would happen. You have to have a disc in it.
Yep, mine was the same way.
I can't remember if the laptop one was like that. I remember being able to hook up to the internet, did some MUDs and stuff on it and that kind of a thing. So.
Wait, you actually hooked up to the internet on that mobile computer? With that flip down keyboard on the front of it?
Dial-up. Yeah, I remember getting into dial-up and stuff. Yeah.
Dude, that's rad. Mine didn't even have a modem. Mine just had a floppy drive. That was it.
I would say that it must have had some kind of built-in operating system.
Did it have like an old school modem where you had to put the handset on it, or could you actually like plug it in?
Not that I recall. I think it had a phone jack.
You play. Okay, so it was probably at least 1,200 baud or 2,400 baud. Because I know the 300 baud modems, those all had like a handset thing, the ones that I saw.
It was cool old tech.
I miss mine. It actually got thrown out. Like when I moved out of my parents' house, I left it there, and I came back years later and it was gone. Like, they just threw out all my old shit. They didn't even ask me. That computer would probably be worth some decent money today because it was working. It was working when I had it. But I remember it was slower than shit. It was like the slowest thing ever. I want to say it was like 8 megahertz. It was a 286. 8 megahertz. It had like 512K of base memory, no extended memory, and it had 720K or whatever low density floppy drives. And I remember it ran like DOS. I think it was DOS 2 something, DOS 2, maybe 3, DOS 3. Really old version of DOS. But yeah, it had that screen that looks orange. It's an orange CRT. And I do remember that about it. It's like some of them had green, but I remember this one had orange, and I was like, dude, this is pretty badass looking. It was like really vivid and super sharp. Oh yeah, I remember Tandy's too. I had a Tandy color computer. That's the one computer I had that wasn't a PC, and I got it after I got a PC, which is funny because it's like I had a PC, but then I got the color computer after that because it was on sale at Radio Shack. I want to say at the time I got it for $99.
Yeah.
And so I saved up my allowance and I got it because I just wanted to play like Cruising USA, and there was a couple of other games that were on it that weren't on the PC that were just on the Tandy color computer. And I remember oogling that thing every time I went to Radio Shack. Well, my mom shopped next door at the shopping center or whatever. I'd always go into Radio Shack and hang out while she was shopping, and I'd just sit there and play freaking Cruising USA on that thing. I think was it Cruising USA?
There was one. There's Cruising California, Cruising USA.
I think it was Cruising California. Maybe that was the one. It was the one with the Ferrari or whatever. And like the opening screen, the Ferrari comes out and does like a little burnout or whatever, and then parks. And there's a lady and the driver in it. And then they take off, and then you're like inside the car actually driving. And it's like 2.5D going over like hills and stuff. It was badass. I thought back in the day, I was like, man, this is amazing graphics. But it was only like TV resolution. It was like 320p or something like 320 by 240.
Yeah.
It was like super low resolution. I remember that, but man, I loved it. I loved that thing back in the day. You couldn't get more computer for $99. It was fucking amazing. Oh, Outrun. Right. That's what it was. Outrun.
Okay.
That was it. Not Cruising USA came later. Here, I got to see this here. Outrun. DOSBox. I want to see if DOSBox has Outrun. They sure do. Oh my God, man. After the live stream, I'm going to have some fun with this. So DOSBox here. I'll put a link so people can go and watch it here. Here, go to YouTube. Come on, click that. Okay, copy. Share. There it is. Okay. So this is the game that I remember playing. Now, I don't know what platform. I think they played this one on MS-DOS from DOSBox, but it looks very similar. This looks very similar to the one that was on the Tandy color computer. And yeah, there's the same Ferrari. It's a Ferrari Testarossa. And yeah, there's a blonde lady and a guy, and then you take off and you drive. And I remember back in the day, I thought that was like the most realistic graphics ever. It's freaking awesome. like nowadays we're spoiled. Now everything actually looks real. But when we were kids, we had to use our imagination. Tell me this: are there any games from your childhood that you open up now every once in a while and you look at and you're like, "Holy shit, these graphics are terrible!" That you thought were good when you were a kid?
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, anything from PS1. Really,
that's true. PS1 games, yeah. I used to think every one of them looked
amazing. So cool because that was a big jump, like from Super Nintendo to like real proper 3D. Yeah, man, it was really cool.
I remember the Nintendo 64 and Wave Runner. I remember like
oh man, Wave Runner was amazing.
Yeah, I went to my buddy's house who just got a Nintendo 64 and he had Wave Runner and GoldenEye. And I remember going over there and playing Wave Runner, and I remember looking at the water, and I was like, this looks like real water. Like, you can actually see through the water, and there's actual waves, and it's like the physics seem like very realistic and stuff. I remember playing that game for hours, just ogling the graphics. Like, I didn't give a shit about the gameplay. I was just like, I felt like I was playing like real, like something real.
Yeah.
And now I go back and I looked at it under an emulator, and it still doesn't look, it's not terrible, but I looked at it under an emulator, and it's like, it's what you'd expect from that era. Like, it's nothing impressive at all. Like now that we're all used to looking at like real water that's like particle synthesized and fucking Unreal with like 1400 tensor cores or whatever, But it was pretty amazing what they could do back then with a gaming console, because the Nintendo 64 wasn't particularly powerful. I mean, even for that generation, it wasn't super duper powerful. Nintendo was known for making the underpowered consoles. And then they were cartridge based, which the cartridges were more expensive to create and less storage. So they were really limited on what they could do. Like, there wasn't a lot of texturing in Nintendo 64 games. Like, they'd use polygons and geometry to simulate texture because texture was just too expensive to store. But my favorite console of all time from my childhood, though, would be the Dreamcast.
Ooh, yeah, Dreamcast was cool.
The Dreamcast was gorgeous. Like, I remember playing Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast. There's a fighting game on there called Soul Calibur, I think it was.
I think so.
Whenever you beat the person, it'd be like, until the souls burn or something like that. It would say after like every fight. Oh,
thanks for
shit.
Canadians reviewing, playing, and more. Thanks very much.
Yeah, give me some sound effects on there, bro. Let's do it. Woo. There we go. Woo. Reviewing, playing, and more RPM. Thank you for the $20 Canadian, my friend. We really appreciate you. He said, congrats on the 51st state. So proud of America. I think you're talking about Venezuela, right?
Yeah.
Yay! More oil! Yay! Oh my God! Compare Forza Motorsport 23 to Forza Motorsport 1, dude. I remember buying my first Xbox. Like when Microsoft made the Xbox, they didn't let the employees get one first, right? We had to go out and fight with everybody else to get one. And I remember driving all the way to Paulsbo, which for me was over 120 miles. I drove to this little podunk store that I convinced to hold one for me because they were out in the middle of nowhere and they had extra stock. Everybody else was sold out, but I managed to get one on launch day by driving like 120 miles out in the middle of nowhere. And so that's the trick. If you ever want to buy a console, it's like sold out. Don't go into an area where people have money. Literally go find like the Indian reservation that has an electronics store like a mile outside of it, and you will find one. Like you'll just walk in the store and it'll be sitting there because nobody can afford it, even if they want it. So I go to this little podunk store. I buy the Xbox. Surprisingly, I got it for retail. They made me buy a bundle, so I had a couple games. I think I had the first Forza Motorsport. I had a couple launch titles. I had this party game that was really stupid that I never really played. But I remember taking it home and I remember playing Forza and I was like, oh my God, this is the best graphics I've ever seen. Like it made Gran Turismo look like absolute dog shit. Like the Gran Turismo of that generation. And also Project Gotham Racing. That was the other one. Project Gotham Racing was fucking badass, dude. I love that game where you got the kudos points for doing tricks and stuff. And the graphics were amazing. But yeah, you go back and look at them today and you're like, oh yeah, this doesn't look great. This doesn't look great. Vintage Gamer said you weren't a child when the Dreamcast came out. You were an adult. I mean, I was still technically a teenager. I think I was like 18 or 19. Because I didn't get mine until I was an adult, but my friend got his when I was younger. So I remember going over to his house to play it. So I had to at least be like 16 or 17. When did the Dreamcast come out? Now I'm curious. Here, let's see here. When did Dreamcast come out? What year was it? So 1998. So I was 18 years old. So yeah, that was right when I turned an adult. So, and my friend had one. And I remember going over and playing his house. He lived with his parents. So I guess I still consider that being a kid. But yeah, I remember we used to sit around and play, Crazy Taxi. The graphics looked so much better than PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then there was the Sega Saturn, which was really cool when it first came out, but then it got smoked by the PlayStation 2. Like the PlayStation 2 came out like shortly after and just destroyed it. But I remember when the Sega Saturn first came out, I rented one from a video store, and that was pretty damn cool. Like I was really shocked at like how far the graphics had come from. Like I had a Sega Genesis that I had gotten rid of to buy RAM. I'd end up selling it to somebody to get money to buy RAM for my 286. But if you compared the graphics between like the Genesis and then the jump to the Saturn, it was amazing. It was mind blowing. It was like the same jump going from like the Nintendo to the Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
it was absolutely gorgeous. But
so cool.
Anybody remember the 3DO consoles? I don't even consider 3DO a console. I feel like 3DO is a scam. Like 3DO, wasn't that the disc based system that was like primarily for home entertainment, and then it was like a gaming system second?
Kind of, yeah.
I want to say it was called like 3DO Interactive, and most of the games were like video that just like it was like the Sega CD, where it was like most of the games were just like pre-recorded video that played in certain orders depending on what actions you did, kind of like Dragon Slayer. I thought that was 3DO. Here, let me look. I want to see. Yeah, that was totally 3DO. That was 100% 3DO. That thing was a piece of shit. Did anybody actually buy one of those? I swear to God, they were like $700. Am I wrong? Because I want to say 3DO was the one that flopped because it was so expensive, and didn't they like license it to other companies so like other companies could build it, or am I thinking of something else?
I missed that one. So couldn't help you there.
There was a console that came out that was like $700 that I remember that was made by like 3 or 4 different companies. Like they licensed out their technology, so it was manufactured by different vendors like Panasonic and some of the other like Magnavox and stuff. Like they all had one. Oh, that was CDI. Okay, thank you. CD Interactive. That's what it was. That was bullshit. Okay, I don't think I ever played 3DO. Then I've never actually played a 3DO game in my life. So what would it be? What would it be compared to? Like what would a 3DO be the equivalent of?
The Jaguar?
I mean, it says it's a 32-bit console. Dude, I remember the Jaguar. That thing was so expensive. Nobody. Do you know a single friend when you were a kid that had a Jaguar?
No.
Do you know a single friend when you were a kid that had a Neo Geo?
As like a mobile thing, if I remember right.
The Neo Geo Pocket, right? The
yeah,
little
there
one?
was it was like the size of a Game Gear, but it took like more batteries and stuff.
Atari Lynx.
Yeah.
You're thinking of the Atari Lynx, I bet. Look up Atari Lynx and tell me if that's what you remember. That's like the biggest handheld console ever made. And it 8 batteries. It was like a 20-minute battery life. It was not that bad, but it was like 2 hours.
No, not that. No.
Look up Neo Geo Pocket and see if that was it. The Neo Geo Pocket was killer. And there was a time where you could get
one.
So you could get one of those for $50 at one time. Like not even that long ago,
no
like
way.
5 or 10 years ago, you get one for $50 all day long used. Now they're like hundreds of dollars because they went way up.
Wow.
I do have a Game Gear. I have a Sega Game Gear. As a matter of fact, I gave it to my son as a gift because he liked the game that was in it. It was like Sonic. It was Sonic the Hedgehog, and I let him play it once, and he really liked it. So it's sitting downstairs in his bedroom right now. He plays it, and that thing's like a relic, but it still works perfectly, like it did day one out of the box. Still works. But yeah, the CDI was garbage. That was like $700. I remember the Neo Geo when I was a kid. Everybody wanted a Neo Geo because it was the only console that played the exact game as the arcade. So with Neo Geo, when you stuck the cartridge in it and you played it, you were playing the exact same game as what was in the arcade cabinet, like exact.
Yeah.
But the games were like $100 to $250 per game. I remember that. And the console was like $500 for the base console with one controller. The controllers were like $100 or $150 each. And then the gold console, which came with the 2 controllers and it looked a little different. Everything. I want to say that was like $700. Now, keep in mind, that's in early 1990s money.
Yeah.
So that would be fucking like $1,000, $1,100, $1,200 for a gaming console. Like nobody could afford that. So I never had a friend that had one. The first time I ever played a Neo Geo was a collector who had one.
Yeah.
Later in life. That's the only time I ever experienced it. However, I do have an original Neo Geo controller. I don't have the console, but I do have a Neo Geo controller that I picked up at a garage sale many, many years ago that's sitting in cases with the rest of my retro shit that I haven't taken out. And so what I wanted to do is buy an adapter for it because there's Neo Geo adapters that adapt them to USB so you can make them a computer controller. And then I was going to use it for emulators so I could emulate the Neo Geo and use the original controller.
2,750 tip $19.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Joey. He says, I remember finding my dad's Zenith laptop in the closet when I was a kid, ended up making it my own, play Mars Attacks on a floppy disk, trying to zip compress large files so they would fit on multiple. Yeah, man. I remember trying to share the installer for like Duke Nukem, I think, Duke Nukem 3D, and breaking it across multiple 3.5-inch, and I don't think it worked. And then it ended up working, and it was.
I'm starting to wonder how many people had the Zenith laptop that was undoubtedly like $4,000 when it came out.
Yeah, right.
Like it couldn't have been cheap. I know they weren't. Did it have a battery in it by chance, or was it you had to plug it in? The Zenith laptop.
For me, or were you talking to Joey?
No, for you. Did you have to plug it in, or did it have a battery?
No, it was portable. Yeah, it had a battery.
Mine did not have a battery. Mine, you opened up a compartment on the back, and it had a cable you had to plug in.
The all-in-one Zenith. I don't remember who made the laptop one. The briefcase laptop.
Okay, got it. Oh, the Zenith was his desktop computer. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, I was
all
confused.
one molded piece of plastic with the screen and the keyboard, and the floppy drive was all. It was like all one piece.
Okay, that makes sense now. Yeah, because I don't remember the brand of my laptop either. It didn't have any. Yeah. Oh no, I do. Never mind. It was compact. It was a compact.
That was probably it.
Yeah, I just remembered it was a compact. It was on the keyboard. When the keyboard was folded up in the front of it, it said compact down in the corner. I remember that. It was like embossed.
Probably it. Yeah.
And it was I remember it was stupid slow. It was a stupid slow computer. And you had to plug it in. It had no battery, weighed like 45 pounds. James Janus said, rip me, I'm on high dose prednisone. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. Said for the next week because you broke out in hives, went to urgent care yesterday. You know the same thing happened to me when I was when I took antibiotics last time. I had full body hives and had to go on prednisone also. He said yesterday. Turns out I'm now allergic to either laundry detergent, regular body wash, or both. That sucks, dude. Allergies fucking suck, and the older you get, the more allergies you get. Like you can go all the way up until a certain point with no allergies, no sensitivity, and then just one day it flipped on you. Hey, Joey just gave us $10. Woo, Joey!
I remember the laptop coming with a docking station bar attached to the back. I believe Windows 95 or 98. Oh, nice.
Remember the
yeah.
Wait, what was it? Okay, so a docking station bar that attached to the back. I believe it had Windows 95 or 98. Okay, so that wasn't like a super old laptop. That was a fairly modern laptop. I would love to find one had the model took it. By the way, this is Joe Tachi. I figured it was you, Joe. Yeah, so that laptop you could probably find today and buy pretty cheap still on eBay. I don't think that that's so old that they're worth like insane money. Because I know you can still get like a lot of the older like 486 and Pentium laptops pretty cheap. The 386 and 286 ones are getting really expensive. But I bet you could go and find that laptop again and buy it for like $100 on eBay if I was guessing. But yeah, back to the compressing on floppy disks. Oh my God, dude. I remember back in the day when I downloaded Wing Commander from a BBS. It was 8 floppy disks, and it took me like the better part of an entire day or 2 days to download it. And keep in mind, I mean, it's not very big. 8 floppy disks isn't shit. But back then it was a huge amount. So keep in mind, my computer had a 40 megabyte hard drive. So those 8 disks chewed up a decent chunk. And I remember downloading it, and I was trying to get it onto disks, but I couldn't because I only had 720K floppies.
Yeah.
And so, but instead of compressing like you did, I actually remember taking a hole punch and punching a hole. No, it was a razor blade. I took a box knife and I cut out the little embossed square in the corner that told the drive whether it was a high density or a low density. And then I'd format the low density disk as a high density disk. And I'd get Wing Commander on it and try to install it. And then it'd say one of the disks was corrupt. And then I'd go back and remake that disk. And then I'd try to install again. And then the other disk would be corrupt. And I remember just playing like a shell game, trying to install the fucking thing, because you had to install it from floppy disks, and I only had the low densities, but when you formatted them as the high density, they would only hold data reliably like 1 out of 10 times you wrote data to it. You know, so I remember having to remake the discs multiple times, and it took forever. But it was worth it. Like, I have to say, Wing Commander is one of the all-time greatest gaming series ever. Like, when I was a kid, I remember the first time I walked into a, was it Software Etc.? I don't know if you remember those businesses in the mall back in the day. Like software, etc.
Software, etc.
So yeah, I remember I walked in there and they had a computer on display one day with like one of those little stupid pin joysticks that had like the little stick with the one little button on the top, and they had fucking Wing Commander on it. And I was like, I thought the graphics were so realistic, and it was like 2D wannabe 3D. Like when the ship steered, it would just be a sprite of the ship like this and like this. But I remember the graphics. Yeah. And I remember the graphics were so good. I was like, oh, I love this game so much. This is the best game ever. I wish my computer could run it. And then when I finally pirated the game because I couldn't afford it, it barely ran on my computer. Like barely. Like it was, I swear it was like maybe 8 frames per second. And so it was almost unplayable. But I remember sitting there for hours playing at 8 frames per second, getting my ass kicked over and over again just because I thought the graphics were so beautiful. What game? Here, I'll ask you a couple questions. What was your first computer? Your very first computer that you ever had that was your computer?
It was unbranded. I know we got it from a spot similar to Infotech, but not directly from there. Because I remember there was like one of those bubbled out, like impossible to remove stickers on the front.
Okay.
From like something similar to like hard drives Northwest, something like that. It was a 486 DX100.
Damn, your first computer was a DX100? Damn,
yeah. With
ballin'.
the math coprocessor. And then a couple, I want to say like maybe a month or so later, we got a 4X CD-ROM for it.
Ooh,
it was very
fancy.
I cut my teeth on like DOS 5, if I remember right.
Shit, if you were a DX4100, you were rocking the Windows 3.1 back then, right?
Could have, yeah. We did eventually get to that. Yeah, I remember playing like Jill of the Jungle, Commander Keen.
All the shareware games back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember Commander Keen.
That kind of stuff before making the jump to like Wolfenstein, Duke 3D.
Tell me this: the first time you played Wolfenstein, did you shit your pants? Like, were you like, "Oh my god, these graphics"?
Dude, yeah, like the dogs. Like one of the first enemies is a dog. Right, freaked me out. Yeah.
I remember the first time I played it, I was shocked. I could not believe what I was looking at.
Yeah, man.
And it ran good. It ran good too, even on my
great.
Shitty computer, my 386 I had at the time.
Yeah.
I remember I was playing the shareware version where you only got like the first level, and I was like, this is amazing. Like I could not believe the graphics, and they were like so smooth. And then you'd hear the guys like mein Lieben, guten Tag. Oh, you know, and they make the noise, and the dog would bark, and then you shoot the dog, and the dog goes. And I always felt bad shooting the dog.
Yeah.
Because it made that noise, and it was just kind of made me cringe. But I remember the first time I saw that, because the only thing I'd played up until that point on the computer were basically like 2D games. That was the first like even though it wasn't really 3D, but it was the first 3DS game that I had like really played. And I was just shocked by it. I was blown away by it. And then you fast forward to Duke Nukem. I remember when Duke Nukem came out, awesome. I was like, what the shit is even happening? Like, I could not believe the graphics in these games. Hexen.
That was fun. I had that on 64.
Yeah, I loved Hexen. Doom. Like, before Quake. Quake was like the real big revolution, right?
Yeah.
Into true 3D, where it wasn't doing the gimmicks and stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing the graphics of, another game that I haven't played in forever that I just remembered is, did you ever play a game called Descent Free Space?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I played even before that. Before Free Space was the first one to have the full
360 degrees. Yeah,
full 6 degrees of freedom flying and stuff. But I remember playing Descent and Descent 2. Yeah, where you were still like kind of just cruising around in like mine shafts and stuff.
Did you ever dial up your friends on the modems and stuff and play multiplayer?
Did that with Duke, not with Descent.
Not with Descent.
I did a lot of 1v1 deathmatch and stuff on Duke.
So we were lucky enough to have a BBS or a bulletin board system that had 4 nodes, and they had this door game that you could go into where the sysop would have to allow you to do it. You couldn't do it just as a regular account, but I knew the guy. And you could log into this door game that would let you simulate a local area network so that you could like using modems. Nice. So it looked like you were dialing up. You get up to 4 players in a game. So I remember I used to play Doom and Descent Free Space and stuff with like 4 people at a time.
Yeah.
And the game, and it was so much fun. And I remember in Descent, I'd use a joystick and a mouse. And so the joystick would like control like my rotation and my up and down, and then the mouse would like slide me up and down and around, and I could use the two together to like perfectly like float around and maintain a target, like rotating around in any direction around a target.
Very cool.
And I got really good at that shit, and I loved it. But then not a lot came after that. Like I felt like that was going to be a game that just changed everything, and there was going to be more and more games like it. But no, there was only like 1 or 2 other games after it that were like similar to that, and then it just kind of got abandoned, sadly. James Janus said, when you were on prednisone, what was your experience like? I hate prednisone. I absolutely hate prednisone. The only time that I take it is if I have such a bad chest infection or flu that I can't breathe. Prednisone's the only thing that like you take it and it'll immediately make you breathe normal, like within a half an hour, an hour. But prednisone, it makes me really, really angry, really, really anxious. It makes me shake. It makes it so I can't sleep. It makes me angry. I mean, it's just bad. It's bad all around. It's really hard on your body. It gives you bad nightmares if you are able to get to sleep. And does it get better with time? A little bit. I had to take it for a full 2 weeks when I had the hive outbreak from the antibiotic. And I would say probably after 4 or 5 days, I was kind of used to it. Yeah. But I never got 100% used to it. Like whenever I took it, I'd always get those effects. So they were just less and less over time. So hopefully if you have to take it for a really, really long time or whatever, then you might just get used to it. Yeah. But from the people I've talked to that take it for life, they say they still even recognize some of the symptoms after taking it for years. Yeah. So I'm not a big fan of prednisone. As a matter of fact, prednisone is one of the few things I could take to alleviate some of my lower back pain, because prednisone is a steroid and it'll make inflammation go away. But it also affects everything in the body. It wouldn't just affect that area. So I'd have to live with all the downsides just to get the one upside. So that's why I don't do it. Plus, it's really hard on your organs. That's the other thing, is prednisone's one of those things. I feel bad for anybody that has to take that shit for life, because it fucks up all your organs. It fucks up your liver, your kidneys, your heart. Like, it is a pretty... Short term, you're fine. But long term, it's. I know it's not indicated for long term use, but some people have to. They don't have a choice. Who said? I saw somebody said something about the ZX Spectrum. I remember the ZX Spectrum. I don't know if we ever had that here in the United States, though. I think that was more of like a UK thing. Let's hear. I wonder, do any of you ever play the Uber banned PSX tile Thrill Kill? No, but we did play Carmageddon. Do you remember Carmageddon?
Oh, yeah.
It was a game modeled after Death Race, the movie Death Race 2000 or whatever.
So yeah.
I loved it. I loved that game, and sadly they got sued and they went out of business because so many people.
There's a more modern one.
Did they come back? Did they come back in some incarnation?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
Is it still Carmageddon?
Is it as gory
as
the previous one?
They've made a handful of Carmageddon games. There was a sequel and everything.
Because I remember I wonder if another company bought them, because I know they went out of business at one point.
I mean, for a minute maybe, but it was the same kind of like outrage that like Mortal Kombat had. It was,
Dude, I love that game.
Postal,
sure
same
enough.
with Postal.
There's a PS4
They've made like
version.
6 Postal games. but like during the 90s, like Postal kind of fell off for a little bit.
Okay, Postal's amazing.
Come back.
And if you haven't seen the movie, the movie's like, even amazinger.
That was like even purposefully like over the top gory and
Did you see the movie, the Postal movie?
No.
Well worth watching.
I should. Okay.
Well worth watching. I just found out about it. I didn't even know about the video game.
Mega Race.
I just found out about the movie, and I was like, and I went and watched it, and I was like, holy shit, this is so over the top.
Oh yeah, I played Mega Race. I think as just a demo. I don't think I had the full version of this, but yeah, I played this.
I remember Carmageddon, you could just run over anybody and splat them.
That was the point. You'd get bonus points. That was part of the gameplay, was to smash pedestrians and stuff.
Yeah, because I remember driving into a stadium and running over all the football players and then running over all the cheerleaders, and you got like super points for hitting the cheerleaders. It was super gory. I remember, I don't know if the modern ones are that gory, like the ones on PlayStation 4 and stuff, but God, that first one was a banger, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember they'd scream when you hit them. Like all the people, they'd scream and make horrible curdles and shit when you hit them. That was one of those games where it's like I played, but I never showed my parents that I played it because I didn't want them like being like, oh, you shouldn't be playing that stuff. So I'd kind of like hide it from them, wear headphones and shit when I was playing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Carmageddon, that was a bad one. What other really bad games? I'm trying to remember. Like, there was a game I played called Cobra Mission, that was really bad, like really, really bad. What other ones there were? I mean,
Panic in Cobra City.
There was the Ultima games where you could like kill children in their beds and throw them into fires and stuff. What other crazy title? I'm trying to remember, like when I was a kid, like what games I played where you could do just absolutely fucking.
This has got to be the same one. It says Wikipedia says Megatech Software distributed Cobra Mission Panic in Cobra City in 1992, making it one of the first translated hentai-related video games released in English territories.
Wait, which one is that?
Cobra Mission.
Oh, Cobra Mission. You found it. Okay. Yeah. Dude, the game starts out, I can't even repeat what it said, but it's like this like little cutscene with like, you know, images where they do the pan in and pan out because they don't have enough space to do the video.
It says there's a total of 5 interactive sex scenes.
Yeah.
And 4 non-interactive ones.
The intro to the game is literally a guy looking at it's a teacher in a classroom of girl students, you know, wearing their little Japanese uniforms or whatever. And he turns around, he goes, I see you looking at my D or whatever. And the lady's like, oh, or whatever. And then I won't say what goes on from there, but it's debauchery. It's absolutely debauchery. I remember downloading and playing that when I was like 10 or 11 years old. That was or Leisure Suit Larry. I remember this is the greatest story ever.
That was fun.
So my mom used to take me to Software Etc. in the mall to spend my allowance when I did get allowance. It was rare, but I'd go and I'd always want to buy a game with my allowance. Anytime I got my $20 allowance for the month, I'm like, I'm going and buying a game with it. So we go to Software Etc. and I started buying Leisure Suit Larry. And if you look at the front of the Leisure Suit Larry box, it's just this cartoon guy wearing like a white leisure suit. And it looks unassuming, right? But so my mom didn't know it was an adult game and they didn't have the ratings back then, the ESRB ratings. Yeah. So I could just grab it off the shelf, take it up to the thing, and they just sell it to me, even though I was a little kid. And so I remember buying my first Leisure Suit Larry, taking it home and playing it. And I was so confused because I didn't get what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be like this cartoonish game. It was going to be like fun and an adventure. And it's like, the first thing is you have to like go get a condom and like hump a hooker or something like that. And if you don't get the condom, your dick explodes. And I was like, and I'm playing this when I swear to God, I was only like 11 years old and I'm playing this shit. And then I was like, this is so much fun. And then I invited my friends over and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that you're able to play this. I never told my mom what the game was. So then I went back and Leisure Suit Larry 2 came out and then Leisure Suit Larry 3. And so I had like all the Leisure Suit Larrys. I ended up pirating them in the end, but they were kind of hard to pirate because they had like this little, like anti-piracy thing where they'd ask you these questions and tell you where you had to go in the booklet or whatever and like spin a little thing to get the number. You had to type in the answer or whatever. And it was a little bit of a pain in the ass to duplicate. I remember that. But then back in the day, they figured out how to duplicate all that shit. Like I remember you'd pirate a game and it'd have like it'd come with like a little thing you could print out on your dots matrix printer and put like a thumb pin through and cut a little hole in the box. And then you'd have the same decoder that came in the box, just not cardboard. Right. And the lengths you had to go to pirate shit back then, it wasn't anything like today with all the DRM stuff and the always on internet stuff. But back in the day, it's like they always came up with new creative ways to stop piracy. I can't remember which game it was, but I even remember buying a game that you had to plug a dongle into the fucking parallel port of the computer to play it. Does anybody remember what game that was? Like this would have been back in like the 386, 486 era. And it was a game where you open the box and it had the discs in it, but it also had this little null modem adapter looking thing that you had to plug into the back of your computer, and then when you started the game, you had to tell it which COM port or which LTP port it was connected to. And then it would like read it, and then it would let you play the game. And if you didn't have the dongle plugged in, it would just pop up and say you need to plug in the dongle. And I remember that was a game you couldn't pirate for the longest time because it required that dongle. And I remember loaning it to my friend, and he brought back the game and he lost the dongle, and I could never play it again. Well, right. until they cracked it, like a year later or whatever, it was cracked. But hey, Bubba and Matt, what's up, man? Thank you for the $5. Said Hola amigos, adrenaline and anxiety overload, sold out gig in Texas. Rock on, man. He said that on Twitch last night too. He said I have a limited amount of walk-in only seats if anyone is interested. So all right, if you're in what is it, Terry Haute? Haute? Maybe Haute. Indiana. Well, go if you're in Terra Indiana, go see the stand-up comedy stylings of Bubba to Matt.
Yeah.
Tonight. Couple walk-in seats. Get them.
Do it.
Meat Puppet, thank you for the $2. Should have a Sega Master System controllers in a game. Oh gosh, dude, nice. I love the Sega Master System. That's a classic. That's pretty good. Lost out to the NES big time, but man, it was a good. And I love their light gun. Their light gun was way cooler than Nintendo's light gun. As a matter of fact, I like their controllers better too. But no, fun story. I bought a Sega Master System when I was a kid from a pawn shop, and I sadly had to return it because it was like broken. Like you'd turn it on and it would like work for like a couple of seconds, then turn off, and then you'd flip the switch, blow on the cartridge. Nothing would work. It would just play for like a couple seconds and then it'd power off. Yeah. And so I had to take it back, and I regret that decision. I wish I had just kept it even though it was broken, because I think those things are worth like quite a bit today. Like, I know I haven't seen one in a very, very long time, like in person. So I want to say that there is some rarity there, and not a lot of people bought them. So let's see, how much is a Sega Master System going for on eBay right now? So $400. Damn. Sega Master System in box launch edition, $359.99 it sold for. Damn. I also remember it had this. Do you remember the 3D glasses? Did you ever see it? It was the only console that had 3D glasses back then. They did the shutter, the LCD shutter. Huh. So they were expensive though. Not a lot of people had them. They were super rare, and I think only a couple games supported them. Like you could do a thing on the controller and it would make it switch between the 3D mode and the non-3D mode. And in the 3D mode, it looked like it was flickering. Yeah. But yeah, it had actual 3D. Like there was a game on it, I remember, where there was a ball that would come at you, and you had a paddle and you had to hit the ball. And I remember playing it once. I got to play it in a store with the glasses on. It looked like the ball was coming out of the screen at you. Yeah. And this is like way back. This would have been in like what, late 80s, early 90s. So it was pretty amazing for the time. The console looked badass too. It kind of had like this diamond shape to it on the top, and it kind of looked like it had a cassette deck on it, but it didn't really. It was just the way that they did the graphics on it. But gosh, I would love to get my hands on one of those. Actually, wait a second. Okay, there's one that it's got a day left. That's why it's at $102 bid right now, but it's gonna go up. They always do in the last minute. Let's see, completed auctions. Because God, I would love to have. I mean, now you can emulate everything though. That's the thing is like the only reason you'd want the physical console, because then you got to get adapters to connect it to your TV, and the adapters never make everything look right. I prefer emulation now. I feel like emulation has gotten so good that you can get a better result, better image, better playability out of an emulator than you can out of the original hardware, in my humble opinion. And I know that a lot of people that collect vintage are going to be like, oh, fucking, or retro. They're going to be like, what are you talking about? That's absolute bullshit. No, it's more convenient too. It's just awesome, right? Yeah. So I'll probably go get an emulator and play me some Sega games. But you know what I would do? I would buy the controller. I would buy the controller and get an adapter for it, because I think that playing emulation is one thing, but having the physical controller that the game was designed to be played with, there's something about that. Yeah. Like I got an adapter for the Nintendo 64 controller so I could play Mario 64 in the emulator. Because sure, you can play it with a regular, like it plays fine with a PlayStation 5 controller or an Xbox controller. But there's just something about holding the Nintendo 64 controller where you have to transition between the thumbstick and then go over to like the little D-pad. And you got to pick a lane or whatever. And the way that the trigger feels on the back of it and that little pencil stick, you can just tell it was designed for that. Like it was on, and so it changes the way the game plays entirely. Gosh, man, I remember all the boxes had that cool grid pattern on them. Yeah, so this would have been 1988. So circa 1988 was when this was the shit. Yeah. And you can get a light gun for $15. One sold for $15 if you want the light gun.
Nice.
The console, the games look reasonable. Oh yeah, the Space Harrier, $200 for the Space Harrier. Oh, kiosk demo cartridge. Never mind. That's going to be more expensive. Yeah, you can get games. Shit, they got some games on here for $5-10 sold. And these are sold. These are completed auctions.
That's not bad.
Yeah, Wanted sold for like $16. Like, I mean, the games are cheap. Wow, this is actually a highly cheap collectible console. This might, if I was still doing the retro thing, this would be something I definitely have my eye on. Okay, so I found one that actually sold, not the asking prices, but what it actually sold. So on January 2nd, yesterday? A Sega Master System used with one controller, one game. I mean, it definitely looks used. It's got scratches and shit on it. But it sold for $150.
Okay.
That's not horrible. That's not super horrible. And if I remember right, didn't the Sega Genesis, couldn't you use Sega Genesis controllers on the Master System? Because they use the same connector and like the same protocol or something like that. I heard that. I don't know if it's true. Maybe somebody in here can confirm it. But I remember that was like one cool thing about Sega is that they kept the ports the same for the controllers and the pinout the same. So you could take a modern controller from a modern console. Now, obviously, the third button wouldn't work, but it would. You could take a Genesis controller and use it on a Master System. I don't know. We probably got some retro people in here that can confirm or deny that. Where did my chat? I lost my chat window. Where'd it go?
What do you mean?
There it is. I got it back. It was hidden amongst all my other windows. There are kits for more recent systems where you can solder on an HDMI port to the console. That is true. There are a lot of mods for consoles to put HDMIs on them. I even saw one for an NES. NES has one. And then you'll get the pure. They call it the pure digital out. Or if you have a console that supports SCART, which is like some like standard for digital broadcasting or something. I think it's still analog, but it like separates all the color channels.
Yeah.
If it has a SCART connector, I know you can buy a thing that just plugs into the SCART port that directly changes it to HDMI or even DisplayPort in some cases. Get yourself an FPGA system like the Mister and play all the games. The truth is you don't even need an FPGA. Now, granted, an FPGA is to emulate the console like by emulating the hardware instead of emulating the software. I get that. And you can get like a real one-to-one experience using a system like a Mister for emulation. But the truth is emulation has gotten so good now that you can run like a lot of really modern, perfect, damn near perfect one-to-one emulators on like a Raspberry Pi 4.
Yeah.
And so you don't even need to spend hundreds of dollars on a Mister. You can just get yourself a little like $50, $50 Raspberry Pi 4 and emulate, I think, everything up to PlayStation 2. And then, like, after that, I think you need a little bit more power. But I don't even think the Mister... Does the Mister do anything over that? I think the Mister only emulates systems up to what? Like the 16 and 32-bit systems? You want a RetroTink 4K? The RetroTink is also FPGA, is it not? So if you guys don't know what an FPGA is, it's... what does it stand for? Like Field Programmable Gate Array or something like that? Yeah, it's basically a chip that you program to pretend to be another chip. So, like an FPGA, instead of like a normal software emulator, loads up the game, looks at the instructions, and then translates them into something that your computer understands. It creates like a bridge, and that can create lag. That can create problems with the color, problems with how things are presented. Sometimes it's never perfect. It's never perfect. But the other option you have with an FPGA is you program the FPGA to act exactly like the chip in the Nintendo or whatever console you're emulating. And then you don't have to emulate the bridge for the software anymore. You just plug the software in. The chip responds to all the things coming out of the software into the chip exactly the same way as the original console would have. And it's pretty damn cool how they work. FPGAs are amazing, but they're also really expensive. Charlie Doppler said PS5 just got a jailbreak this week. I don't fuck around with that. Yeah, I don't fuck around with PS5 jailbreaks. The reason being is, like, if you get caught jailbreaking, which most consoles eventually do, you get banned permanently. Like, they brick your console.
Thing though, they're saying that it could lead also into emulation and other sorts of things.
Yeah, but if it connects online, you're still fucked though, right? Like, you have to keep.
No, but if you're emulating the PS5, you don't have to connect online, right? If you're just emulating it, you could be.
Wait, are there PS5 emulators right now?
That's what they're saying. This hack that they've done could lead to PS5 emulation.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd imagine if you had a computer that was like beefy enough with a big enough CPU and GPU, you could emulate a PS5. It'd be hard to do though, because the PS5 is quite the powerhouse. Even by today's standards, it's a pretty powerful console.
It's pretty decent. Yeah, they've there's actually, if you look up ASRock BC250.
ASRock. Oh yeah, the that's the card, the mining card, right?
Yes, yeah, but it's basically the guts of a PS5.
It really is. Yeah.
It is.
It's like minus like a couple cores, and that's about it. Like it's a little bit slower.
Yeah, it just needs storage, basically.
Dude, people are buying those up and putting Bazite. Linux has Bazite has a specific distribution that goes on that BT250 or whatever. It's just like turnkey. You buy one, plug a power supply into it, and a monitor to keyboard, plug that in, you're good.
I was thinking about picking up a few of them on a cheap to do exactly that. I think people are going to start snatching these things up to do exactly that.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Their own Steam machines.
It's still enough of a secret that people aren't getting them because they think that, because it used to be really hard to get them working. Like, I know there was a period of time where it was super hard to get the fucking things working, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I think it's you just buy one, plug in power, install this Bazite, and you're done. What is it, the BT250?
You need the BC250. Yeah, you do need some little power supply, right? But it's not much.
You have to have an ATX power supply.
Like a 350 watt. No, you can get even one of them little micro jobbies, little skinny things. I'm seeing them for like 180 on.
Because it's powered by the GPU connectors, so any power supply that has the 6-pin GPU connector should be able to power this. So if you think about it, it's basically a CPU, a GPU, RAM.
Together,
it does have storage. You do have to provide storage though.
Right.
But I don't know. Do you put the storage on it?
16 gigs of memory. I'm not sure how. I'd have to look up a little.
Dude, these things are still going for like 125 all day long.
I'm seeing 180, 250. 240s. Oh, this one's like a
today 3 of them sold on eBay. 3 of them in a row for 125,
140,
179. But so it looks like if you fish
basically a PS5 equivalent Steam machine.
Yeah, it's an AMD APU, 8 cores, 16 gigs of RAM with a Radeon graphics card for 125 bones.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, if you had like an old computer you wanted to upgrade, if you have like a gaming computer you wanted to upgrade, you could just rip the motherboard out of that thing. Reuse the power supply and just chuck this thing in there. Just tape it to the back of the fucking chassis, put a side on it, install Bazite, and you got yourself a gaming computer again.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind,
selling whole kits with a fan, storage, and everything for $200-$300.
Oh, I found a picture of the backside of the board. I was wondering where you put the storage. So yeah, on the backside of the board, there's a place for a memory expansion. There's a place for an SSD.
Like
yeah, so it's got
what's it got?
M2
SATA plugs on it.
Yeah, it's got M2. It's got expansion for RAM. I didn't know it had expansion for RAM.
No way. What's it take SODIMMs or something?
Yeah, I'll send you here's the listing I'm looking at. Here,
this has got the back plate on it.
Yeah, because I've never seen the back of one. I've never oh shit, of course it's eBay with their links that are too big to fit. God damn you, eBay, I hate you. So
there should be like a share button. Underneath the photos.
Underneath the photos, sell something like this, sell like it, have one to sell.
Just share.
Right, buy
that's what I see. I see have one to sell one like this, sell something else, and then share.
I just searched for share, and there's no share anywhere on this. God damn it.
That's weird.
Am I blocking it somehow? Like, I mean, there's a ton of these listings that show the back of the board. Let me click on a different one.
Looking. Yeah, I'll just keep looking.
Maybe I can't share it because these ones are already done. These are ones that are already sold. So maybe that's why there's no share.
That's got the back plate.
Yeah, dude, I'm looking at the back plate right now. It also looks like it has
it's just funny that they're listed so much as mining cards. Like, I guess people were doing Bitcoin mining with these, I guess.
Yeah, that's what they were originally used for, is Bitcoin mining. They dense pack these in the chassis and just mine the shit.
Dude, man, I guarantee in a week or so, these things are going to skyrocket. People are, because they're not going to want to buy PCs.
I want to say at one point you could get these for $80, so I think they've already gone up.
All right.
Because I remember watching a video on YouTube where the guy said he got his for $80 on eBay. So
I wonder where you get them originally, though. Like, who was selling these?
Probably straight out of China for mining. Probably like mining companies.
You know, I'd rather figure out where they're coming from and buy direct, honestly, than, I mean, I'll probably get one of these off of eBay anyway.
I want to know what all these little edge ribbon connectors are for, because there's like there's a connector on the side that looks like it takes like one of those internal ribbons like you'd see on a laptop for like a display.
Yeah. And
then there's like another connector that looks like it's got 8 pins on it. That might be like a USB-C breakout. There's a bunch of connectors on the edge around this thing, but I can clearly see that there's a full-size SSD port, M2 SSD, and there's a full size. What does it say? GCGR2 or something like that. It's definitely like it looks like a SODIMM for a laptop. So it looks like you can expand the memory on this thing beyond 16 gigs too. And this is a AMD Ryzen 7 3700 AMD Radeon RX Via 10 motherboard. Never mind. Is this something different? Yeah, this says something different. This is an Asus AMD Ryzen 7 3700 AMD Radeon RX Vega 10 motherboard. But it looks exactly like the BT250. So I wonder if there's other companies making these mining rigs. Let's see. Where's some other ones? Because the only one I'm aware of that Bazite works on is that BC200 or whatever it is.
Yeah, the BC250.
Yeah,
that
BC250.
I mean, really, I'm sure any Linux distro would work, sort of. It's just Bazite probably works better with the APU part.
APU board. I want to see what operating systems will run on this thing. Okay, the BC250 APU board can run Linux only with full GPU support. Windows will boot, but has no GPU drivers. Oh, interesting. So you can install Windows on this. It becomes a CPU-only system under Windows. But if you run Fedora, Bazite, Arch, or Ubuntu with tweaks, you'll have graphics support. And this is the BC250 uses a cut-down PlayStation 5 APU called codename Cyan Skillfish. The AMD never released Windows drivers for the GPU, only Linux. Because of that, OS support is limited. And it says it recommends. I didn't know this. I thought Bazite was the only one that you could install on this, but it says no, you can install Fedora 42 and 43. It says it's supported under Bazite. It says it's a gaming distro, though. So if you're using it primarily for gaming, Bazite's the way to go. Right. Arch Linux, but you have to mod it with something called AMD Only Gaming Mesa Git. It's something you have to install after you install the OS. And then Ubuntu works, but you have to have a kernel greater than 6.6, and you have to have the Mesa patches. Okay. But Bazite works right out of the box, and so does Fedora. So if you install Bazite or Fedora, it's just done right out of the box. Dude. And then how would you? So I guess you load the OS on the SSD, like flash it to the SSD, and then put the SSD on it and boot it. Because I don't know how else you'd install it. It doesn't have any. I don't think it has a USB port. Does it? Does it have a USB port on the back of it? I didn't. Here, let me look.
Yeah, looks like there's at least 2.
Oh fuck, it has four USBs and an HDMI. Or is that display? That might be DisplayPort actually. And then it's got a network. Oh, it's got a network connector too.
Yeah.
So you've got net, USB, and video. That makes sense because you need to be able to plug in a keyboard and mouse and stuff. I didn't even think about that. I'm such an idiot. Yeah. So you probably could plug in a thumb drive and install this. Like just boot it up and install it.
Probably.
God, dude, I want to do this now. I'm going to be jelly if you do this, man. If you do this, I'm going to do it. If you do it, I'm doing it. Because
I already have a PS5, but
there's already companies on here too, like selling like metal cases designed specifically for this.
Yeah,
for like
a lot of
for like $50, there's this really sweet looking fully metal case.
Yeah,
with breakout for the fans and everything. Dude, this would be fun because it's like, you could put every emulator on here. And just play everything, like 1080p gaming all day long. And the thing is like small enough that if you got a tiny little power supply or whatever, you could stick this on the back of a screen.
That's what I mean. Like, because it only takes like probably not even 300 watts, but you can get those little flex PSUs that are like this big, or sorry, the camera's over here.
Yep.
That do 350 watts. Easy.
Dude, this God, that'd be the cheapest and it would be so much more capable than like a Raspberry Pi 5. Which is what a lot of people use for like the MAME cabinets and stuff like that. This would be so much more powerful. So if you guys are wondering what we're talking about, it's BC-250. You can look on a search engine or you can look on eBay. And it looks like a graphics card. Like it's the form factor of a graphics card. But it's not a graphics card. It's designed to be dense packed in a chassis. Like it's designed to go into a slot. It doesn't go into a PCIe slot. But it's designed to go into slots on like a big server case, have pressurized air blown through to cool it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And it's supposed to,
they're supposed to be like racked out next to each other.
Oh, that is true. That is true. If you do buy one, you do need to come up with a cooling solution. Because you can't put like a regular fan on it. You need to create a duct to duct a regular fan down to it because you have to push air through this like little heatsink tunnel thing.
Yeah.
But there's like models everywhere. Like I looked, I think last time we were talking about this, I was looking on Inventables, the site that has all the 3D models and stuff. And there was like a ton of people on there that just were giving away 3 3D models. So if you have a 3D printer, you can print one.
in March of last year, Craft Computing, smaller, I don't know, he's pretty decent. Tech tuber, he built out a 12 node rack with 12 of these in it.
Whoa. Hey, James Jane said the PS5 jailbreak is hardware level, so Sony can't patch the jailbreak because it's in the boot ROM code.
Something to do with one of the Star Wars racing game.
Oh, is that what you use to access the jailbreak,
or that's how they figured it out? Something, yeah.
See, but here's the thing: even though they can't patch it, they can still kick you off PlayStation Network and prevent you from playing online.
Yeah, Star Wars Racer Revenge, apparently, and there's something to do with how something to do with this game is gotten them access to the bootloader or something, and yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy, and it's a hardware thing, so they can't patch it with firmware. That's rare.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they can patch everything with firmware to some degree. Even if it's a hardware problem, they can modify the firmware so that you can't get to that hardware to exploit it.
Yeah, I guess,
but has anybody actually used it yet, though? Like, I mean, other than just like jailbreaking, has anybody like demonstrated running emulation on it or something?
That's what I'm getting to. According to hackers, discovered allowed for an exploit that can be used as an entry point for ongoing jailbreak efforts. Apparently, running the PS4 disc version of the game on PS5 allows savvy users to inject code into the system through menus. As hackers tell it, this method cannot be patched out. We can't verify whether these jailbreak rumors are true, but news of it and the possibility of piracy that comes with it has spread far enough and now copies of this game have spiked hardcore. They're going for $200-$300. So yeah, there's something about this game that allows them to get right into it somehow. I don't know. That's way over my head. How
also this is the boot keys were leaked too, so it looks like this is like a multifaceted approach thing.
Yeah.
You know what I should do though? I didn't even think about this. I still have a PS4 that I don't use. Like I have a PS4 that I don't use. I was like, I should jailbreak that thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure because I haven't touched it in so long. I bet you it has like an old ass firmware that's just loaded with exploits. Like as long as I don't boot it up and let it like update off of the internet or whatever, I could probably jailbreak that damn thing and like do all kinds of fun stuff with it. I don't know what the equivalent power would be like if you're in emulators and stuff.
It is different too. Yeah. So have found the boot ROM keys for the PlayStation 5, which enables decryption of the bootloader, and from there allows hackers to control what software can run on the machine. Yeah,
that's crazy, man. That's going to be a big deal. And is it like, does it affect the PS Pro hardware too, or is this patched in the PS Pro, PS5 Pro?
It doesn't say. It just says PlayStation 5 have found the boot ROM level 0 keys for PlayStation 5. Short term doesn't mean much. But soon enough, custom firmware and unlicensed backups will likely be available for current PS5 hardware. CyberSec Guru anticipates, quote, "We will see more sophisticated game backups and loaders appearing in 2026, and this leak significantly shortens the timeline for mass piracy."
Well, when PS5 goes out of fashion or goes out of circulation, and there's like a new, then I'll do it. But I'm not going to jailbreak now because I don't want to get it bricked. I did the whole jailbreaking thing back on the Xbox 360. I had like 5 Xbox 360s and I jailbroke like 3 of them just so that I could play like every game in the world on it. It was like a whole kit I went through. I was like printing labels on DVDs and shit and making boxes and putting box art in and everything. Like I took it to a weird extreme. It was more about the art than the piracy. Like I didn't even play half the games I made. It was just kind of a cool thing to do. And I remember one day they banned all 3 consoles. They bricked them completely. Just one day I turned on one
the PS5.
What's
not
that?
The Pro. It says it does seem to be just the PS5, not the Pro.
Oh, okay, it's not the Pro. Okay, so at least they got that going for them.
There's no news of it. It says, because at the end of this blurb I was reading, it says if the PS5 Pro shares boot ROM keys with the base PS5, we might see a new revision of that as well.
Gosh, man, that's crazy. I mean, the same thing could happen to Microsoft too. Like, I'm actually surprised that hasn't happened to Microsoft yet. Where like, if their certificate leaked, like their signing certificate leaked, like anybody on Earth could just create a virus and just send it to everybody, and it would just bypass every security thing. Like it wouldn't even ask you. You could just send somebody a script and it would just install it as a driver, no warning, nothing would pop up on the screen. It'd have full system level access. But somehow they've managed to not leak that signing key, which blows my mind.
Right. I
had access to that signing key when I worked there too. Like I could sign my own code. Like when I worked at Microsoft, if I wrote a virus, I could have signed it and like literally put it on thumb drive and brought it home. I'm surprised nobody's done that as far as I know. Anthony Mangione said, I miss the old servers where they would turn off gravity on the old COD games like COD 4. So many fun gaming nights. That was fun. Dude, I miss Gary's mod. I used to play the shit out of Gary's mod back in the day. That was fun, man. Like, and Half-Life Alyx is like the best of all the Half-Life games, in my opinion. Like, you have to play it in VR, obviously, but it's still to this day probably one of the best VR experiences I've ever had. Like, the most realistic, most immersive. Like I wish that they would make a follow-up to it, because it's just so it uses VR how VR should be used. There's a lot of VR stuff that doesn't get it right. Like, a few examples of getting it right would be like Gran Turismo 7 gets it right, Kayak VR gets it right. Where you feel like you're really immersed in an environment, and it's like you start to feel like the physics are what your brain expects.
Yeah.
And Alex just broke my brain with that, like how good it was. Like, you could actually, with the controllers, flip a gun up in the air and catch it.
Yeah.
You could take a magazine and like pull it out, throw it in the air, grab it, and like slam it into the gun, and like perfectly, and rack it. Everything was so intuitive and so perfect one-to-one that like you didn't fudge up. It didn't feel like you had clay gloves on, you know?
Huh.
I fucking love that, man. I want to experience that again. I may even just play the game through again, just because it was such an amazing experience. I remember I'd go in almost every night and just sit on the end of the bed. Like, we have this little blanket nook thing at the end of the bed, and I would just sit on it, put on my VR headset. At the time I was using the PSVR 2 with the adapter. And surprisingly, I didn't even play through on the Valve Index, which is what it's designed for. But the new headset was much higher resolution, much higher contrast. But oh my gosh, dude, just the sound design and hearing things make you crazy. It make the hair stand up on the back of your neck. And it was amazing. Anthony said VR porn gets it right, or so I heard. VR porn is amazing. VR porn is absolutely amazing, but then you get lazy and you're like, it's too much. Just set it up, pull it out, put it on. Somebody comes in and trips you up and you fall and hit your head on the desk and to go to the ER. It's just, at the end of the day, it's not worth it. But no, I would say that if everybody saw 15 seconds of VR porn through a VR headset, they'd probably buy one. They may never use it again for that, but they would definitely buy one. Like, I know for everybody I've witnessed see it for the first time. Because it is fun to be like, hey, put this on, and they don't know what they're looking at, and they put it on. It's like, oh God. It's very, very realistic. Like, you can tell the industry has definitely worked hard to try to get like the perspective right, and the color right, and the depth of field right. Like, it's pretty creepy. The first time you do it, you're like, oh man, you almost feel like, ooh, I shouldn't be here. Like, what's going on? And then it's always filmed from the perspective of one of the stars, right? Depending on like what you like. Yeah. You're like looking down, you're like, that's not my junk. But it's like you're looking down at a body and you're looking down at legs and shit. Like, they're like one-to-one with you, and you're like, what is going on here? It's a trip. It's an absolute trip. But a lot of people don't try VR because either one, they've never tried VR at all and they're not interested and they think it's a gimmick, or they tried it and they got sick when they tried it early, because in the early days there was ghosting and low frame rates and it caused people to get really ill. And now it's much more tolerable, but there's still people sensitive to it. I mean, David Hewlett, I got him to try it again because he said it made him sick when he tried like the HTC Vive. And I was like, oh no, it's come a lot further than that. Like, try a Quest 3. And he tried a Quest 3 and he still got sick. So there are some people that just can't tolerate it. And that's what sucks about it too, is it's such an amazing technology that if everybody could tolerate it and everybody could experience it, because you can't really relay the experience of having infinite depth of field in 3D. I mean, it's literally like looking through goggles at the world, right?
Right.
And you can't convey that to people. So a lot of people that don't try it, they just think, they see a video of it and they're like, oh, it's like looking at a bigger screen or something. It's like, no, it's not.
Really not.
When I'm sitting,
back, I tried it was a Vive like SDK 2.
Yep.
Years and years and years ago. Dude, it was immersive even then. Like,
it was insane, dude.
It really felt like you were in it. It was really cool. Yeah.
I used the original Rift. The original Rift I used, the software development kit, the SDK, or what they call it, the hardware development kit, HDK or whatever it was. And then I tried the Rift one, was an Oculus, their very first Rift. And I thought the Vive was better. I thought the Vive honestly was better with like the outside trackers and stuff and the weird, wand looking controllers. But I remember I even have a video. There's actually a YouTube video of me trying VR for the first time in my life. over at like one of my fans back in the day from YouTube. He messaged me and he's like, "Hey, I got a VR setup, and I live in Washington." And I found out he was only about a half an hour away from me, and he invited me over. So I literally drove over to his house to shoot a video of me trying VR for the first time. And he scares the ever-living shit out of me. I end up like squatting down and ripping out my crotch and my pants because I just like collapsed to the ground. Because he scares me right during a jump scare moment in the game. But it was like this zombie shooter game.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it was called. And then he had this other one where I walked the plank later. And I did a video on that where I was walking the plank. And I was actually like physically shaking and couldn't step off the end of the board because my body was like doing a fight or flight response.
Yeah.
I mean, I have those moments recorded. Now I'm used to VR. So now I can just throw on a VR headset. And it's like there's no... I don't get like the elevator legs anymore or like feel like I'm in a different world. Like my brain adjusts to going into VR and coming out of VR really smoothly. But yeah, even just today playing Beat Saber. Like I played Beat Saber yesterday and the day before after not playing it for like a year. And it still just blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. I get in there, this guy, it starts, the music playing, the blocks are coming at me and I'm swinging the swords and cutting up the blocks and everything. And it's just perfectly intuitive and timed. And it's like, even my son, the first time he ever played Beat Saber, he did a good job. Because he's just acclimated to VR. He's played VR and Rec Room and all these things so much. It's like VR to him is like reality. Like he just jumps in. He's like, oh, the block. Oh, this is intuitive. You just cut in the direction of that. And he just do. I'm like, damn, it took me a lot longer than that to pick it up when I tried it the first time. So yeah, I hope that VR keeps getting utilized enough that they keep advancing the technology. And I feel like it is. Like Pimax just came out with like the first like 8K headset. It's like 4K per eye, 120 frames per second. I mean, stupid expensive. I want to say it's like a $2,000 headset or something like that. And then you got Pimax doing the OLEDs, like the really high resolution, like 2650 by 2650 or whatever OLEDs. PSVR 2 is using fairly high resolution OLEDs. You've got Quest 3 using the pancake lenses. So I feel like the technology does keep getting better. Like every year or two, you do see a major advancement, whether it be like resolution or screen technology or optics. And so I feel like we're going to get to that point eventually where everybody's compatible with VR and everybody can do it with no fatigue and no problems at all.
Yeah.
But my fear is that there's people turned off that just aren't going to give it another shake.
Yeah, that's okay though.
Bradley Smith,
I still think that it's like it doesn't have the hook thing that everybody needs. Like, oh, everybody's gonna buy it.
Well, that's VR porn, but it's hard to get people to try that in the middle of a store. you're like 18 plus, put on headset, and kids are just walking over it. See little 12-year-old Timmy sitting there for an hour and a half with it on, sweating. Right. Hey, mama, just a few more minutes, please. I got to finish level 2. Oh my god, dude. If my parents only knew the shit I did when I was a kid in my bedroom on that computer. They had no idea, man. They thought I was on Prodigy. I was like dialing up BBSs and downloading like fucking 640, 480 nudies from Playboy, scanned from Playboy magazine with like one of those little hand scanners you got to like drag across the magazine. And my parents are like, oh, he must be on playing The Maze on, that'll date me, The Maze on Prodigy.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is? Okay, so you're now you're young. You're a lot younger than me. Who here is old enough to remember The Maze on Prodigy? It was like one of the few games. Prodigy was like before BBSs and stuff, or I should say at the same time as BBSs. There was a service called Prodigy, and there was a couple. There was like Prodigy, CompuServe, and then there was one other one. I guess AOL came later, but Prodigy was like the OG, right? Yeah. And you dial up to Prodigy, and it had like weird graphics. It wasn't antsy graphics like BBS's. It was like this weird rip graphics where you could see it like drawn shit with like, and fills and pencil lines and stuff. It was designed to transmit over really slow devices like modems. And so there was a game on there called The Maze. And I remember that was like the most amazing thing because you literally, no pun intended, you could literally dial up to Prodigy and open up the maze, and it was like one of those mazes where it's like, oh, you can go forward, you can go left, or you can go right, depending like what room you're in, and then you encounter monsters and you got to talk to them or fight them and stuff like that. And I remember there was like a time limit. You only got so much the maze a month. Maybe it was Mad Maze. Was that it? I thought it was called The Maze, but here, let me see. Let me see if it's Mad Maze. I'll know it if I see it here. Mad Maze. Mad Maze Prodigy. No, that's not it. Let's see here. The Maze Prodigy. Dude, I haven't seen this since my childhood. This is going to be weird if I can find it. There may not even be pictures of it on the internet. It's so old. Nope, I found it. Oh, it is. It's Mad Maze. Yeah, it is. No, that is it. Yeah, that's 100% it. Mad Maze. And I remember I used to dial up to Prodigy and play Mad Maze all the time. And I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. I'm like, wow, I can dial up and do games. This is so cool. Oh, memories. Things have changed so much since I was a kid. Oh my God.
I know, right?
Think about how much faster computers are than when 12 megahertz. Like now we're like how many cores at 5.6 gigahertz or something like that? That's just insane to think about. It's like 12 megahertz to multiple cores of gigahertz. And then that's just the CPU. The GPU is a whole different story because back in the day there was a GPU, but the CPU still did all the heavy lifting. The GPU basically just translated some stuff to the screen. I remember I had a Trident 8900C graphics card in my 286. I still remember when it booted up. Was that
fancy?
Yeah, it had 16 kilobytes of RAM. Kilobytes. And I remember the card when you opened up the case was the entire length of the case. And it was just dense packed with chips. It was heavy. Like I remember when I replaced the card, I took it out and I put it in a Cirrus Logic. Like I upgraded to Cirrus Logic. The Cirrus Logic card weighed about half as much and was about half the length. And it was about 10 times more powerful at the time. As a matter of fact, my computer was bottlenecked. I remember installing it in my 286 and it like required a minimum of like a 386 to like fully utilize it. And then later on I upgraded to the 386 and carried the graphics card over. But if I thought about it, I could probably remember all the graphics cards I had. I remember it was my first card was Trident 8900C, then a Cirrus Logic. I can't remember the model number. Then after that it was a number 9 Diamond Stealth, then a number 9, and then 3DFX Voodoo, and then I did a I did a Matrox. Then I had a Matrox Mystique, and then I had a Matrox Mystique with the 3DFX card.
Those were good. Yeah, man.
And then I got the fully integrated 3DFX 2 that didn't need the Matrox Mystique anymore. And I remember missing the Matrox Mystique. That was a badass card. The Matrox Mystique had a party trick that like none of the other graphics cards had, even the Voodoo, and that was it would refresh like the desktop in Windows so much faster than the other graphics card. Like when you weren't in a 3D mode, like when you move the mouse cursor around, you move Windows around, it was so buttery smooth compared to other graphics cards. I remember the Matrox Mystique could do that. No other card could do it at the time. I remember. Another thing that dates me is you remember bus mice? So bus mice were like back in the day, they had the serial mice, and the serial mice would only pull like, the mouse cursor would be a little bit janky when you moved it. Yeah. And then they had bus mice, which could update it like 1,000 times a second. Ooh. And so they were buttery smooth, like if you had a bus mouse, but it required a card. You had to put in a card and it had like a PS2 style looking connector on it. And you had to have a full card and a full slot dedicated to just your mouse.
Oh, dang.
And I remember I loved that bus mouse so much that I kept using that same ISA bus card all the way up until ISA was completely phased out. Like all the way up to my 46 with Visa Local Bus. I think I had a Pentium that had Visa Local Bus still. Maybe I got to remember. It was like a Pentium 100 Pentium 133. And I remember I carried that bus card to everything. This like ancient bus card that started back in like the 386 days. And I carried it forward into a modern PC just because no other mouse was as smooth as that, like for gaming and stuff. It was the most badass thing ever. But then we got the laser mouse, right? When the laser mouse came out, it did the polling rate and everything. It just dominated it, so you didn't need it anymore. We're just doing a memory lane today, I guess. Carl said, by the way, do you still remember guest Isa Bonita Chiquita? A long time ago, you've banned her. But since you seem to be a changed man, do I remember guest? I have no idea who that is.
Isla Bonita, Chiquita.
I'm willing to give you a second chance. No, stay on the right track. Okay, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't remember banning Isla Bonita, Chiquita, Conchita.
Yeah. She probably deserved it.
Hey, if you get banned here, you probably deserve it. But like, hey, you can go through the appeal process. If you're banned, you can go through the appeal process.
That's right.
Let's see here. James Campbell said, me when I was playing emulators in 1997, like Ultra HLE. Dude, Ultra HLE was so badass, and then they got shut down by Nintendo suing the ever-living shit out of them. Although now there's a better Nintendo 64 emulator. What's it called? Is it Dolphin? Does that ring a bell? Dolphin?
Dolphin, I think, is for Wii.
Or is that Wii? That might be Wii and newer. You're right. There's another Nintendo 64 emulator because I have it on my computer downstairs because I played Nintendo and it was really good. Like it's way better. As a matter of fact, have you seen the? Oh, hey Pele, you take it easy, man.
Yeah, bye.
You have yourself a wonderful weekend, and thank you again for stopping by. I want to say, oh, have you seen the Switch emulator? There's a Nintendo. There's no Nintendo Switch 2 emulator, but there's a Nintendo Switch emulator.
Yeah.
And it plays beautifully. It actually looks better and plays better than the actual console. Like I remember, was it the new Zelda game? Not the first one, but the second one on the Switch. Kingdom, Tears of the Kingdom, or something like that. I played it under emulation, and it looks so much better than it does on the actual console. And you can play it at 4K, and you can patch it to 120 hertz, which you can't do on the console. So it is like, I mean, you have to have a fairly powerful computer and graphics card. But my gosh, it looks beautiful and it plays absolutely fantastic. So if you're a big fan of Nintendo Switch and like the Zelda games and stuff like that, like try playing them under emulation. It looks amazing.
They're huge games though.
Yep. So Dolphin does GameCube and Wii.
Ah, okay.
I also have an emulator that plays the Nintendo arcade games because my son really loves Mario Kart DX, which is an arcade game.
Nice.
That never got brought to any of the consoles. That's specifically like an arcade pumped up, extra graphics, extra bang. And I got an emulator for that. And the coolest thing is the emulator also supports a force feedback steering wheel. So if I plug it into like, you know, the Wheel Stand Pro with the Logitech G25, it's imagine Mario Kart with full force feedback and be able to feel the texture of the road and things bumping into you and getting hit by shells and stuff like that. It's freaking awesome. Freaking awesome, and it plays amazing. It actually, the arcade machine only plays at 720p, but with the emulator you can crank it up to 4K.
Nice.
Says Gamers Unite said, where do you get your ROMs, if I may ask? No, you may not ask.
Yeah, don't ask that.
Too many places seem to be filled with fake and virus ROMs.
We'll answer that on Discord.
So it's good to have friends. I'll just say it's good to have friends. But now wait, you've been finding ROMs with viruses and shit in them? I've never had that problem with ROMs. Yeah. I've had that problem with like executables and stuff like that, but I've never had that problem with ROMs because the ROM has to load into the emulator and the emulator's interpreting everything and the emulator actually separates it from the computers like that, like it's run in like a virtual machine of sorts. So I don't know how you would do that. Let's see here. Clear Text was and still is a wonderful person. If you say so. I still don't get it, Kal-El.
There's a process.
There's a process, but if that's somebody who got banned, they can go to Discord and they can ask a mod, you know, if they can have a second chance, if they apologize for the infraction that got them banned in the first place. $50. And it says, wait, do you remember a guest? Like, what do you mean a guest? Like somebody who was on the show, or just like somebody who was in chat? So yeah, I mean, name does not ring a bell. Is it another content creator or some shit? I don't know. I really don't know. But tell them to go to Discord. Discord's the place to do that. Yep. Did you send a notification for your live today? I didn't get one. Yeah, I sent a notification on X, on Facebook, on Blue Sky. Or wait, did I? Oh my God, did I not?
I don't know. I thought you did.
Did I seriously forget to do that?
I thought you did right at the beginning.
I thought I did. Maybe I missed Blue Sky, but I'm pretty sure I did. Did I? Oh, man, I hope I did. I know I did on Discord. Actually, I'm not even sure on Discord. Did I do it on Discord? I didn't. It's still sitting there. I didn't push enter. God damn it.
Well, it's too late now. We're about to wrap it up.
I know. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to see an AI image of me naked, go in general on Discord. That should get some more people in here. so GROK, if you go to Elon won't fix this, but if you go to GROK, you can upload any image and say, I want this person only in underwear, and it'll basically strip them down to their skivvies. And so, which is bad. You shouldn't be able to do that. You shouldn't be able to disrobe people with an AI. And every other AI blocks you from doing this. Cloud AI, not local AI, but cloud AI blocks you from doing this. But GROK lets you do it with video and pictures, which is total bullshit. So. But yeah, go put some pressure on them to fix that, because that's fucked up. That's really, really fucked up. The other thing too is it creates images of underage people, and it both nude and in scantily clad clothing and video too. And it'll actually create video. And he won't do anything to fix it. He's very well aware of it. He knows it's there, but he refuses to fix it. The best he's done is I guess he removed a media tab. There used to be a media tab that showed like all the videos people were creating, but like most of them were bad. And so he removed the media tab. That was his solution. Just remove the media tab, but let everybody still create the bad illegal shit. So, because, hey, if they'll pay me to use my AI to create stuff that other AIs deny them, then I can make money. So, that's all he cares about.
Yep.
Seriously, fuck that dude. Fuck Elon Musk in 2026 and 2025 and 2027, 2028, forever. Yeah, Grok let you make CSAM. Yeah, totally fuck that. No offense, Barn, but I don't need to see this. Hey, I totally understand.
Don't look.
I totally understand if you don't want to see me naked over on Discord. That's fine. Let's see. Retro Game Courts and Retro Tech Dad have good YouTube channels around emulation and guides and such. That's cool. I don't think I've seen either of those people. Retro Tech Dad sounds kind of familiar. I'll have to go look those up. I like the retro channels. Damn, is it seriously 2:00 already?
Yes, sir.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Happens.
Well, now you guys all have some fun stuff to do. You can go and buy your BT250s on eBay to drive up the price so we can't get them cheap anymore. And build yourself little cheap gaming machines, or you can go install emulators and play yourself some Nintendo Switch 2 and some Nintendo 64.
Yeah, man,
and
all the cool stuff.
I think you can emulate everything up to like PlayStation 3, and I know you can emulate Dreamcast, Nintendo 64. A lot of arcade machines you can emulate now. Like, shit, sky's the limit. Whoopi Man gave us $1.44. He said, my GOAT game is Ocarina of Time. You guys? I actually do love the Zelda games. I really do love the Zelda games. That's why I played them under emulation, because I don't like the small screen.
Like, of all time?
I don't know of all time. Like, for me, all time is probably like Grand Theft Auto 5 is probably the thing, and Gran Turismo 7 are probably the two games I've pumped the most time into out of anything in my life. So
I don't know. I don't know. I think there's greatest of certain eras, because like there's some games that are great that they just don't hold up, man. Like you try playing Final Fantasy 7 right now, you know, without some quality of life improvements. Like it's rough. It's rough out there. There's some really cool, you know, texture mods and things like that to make it better. For the time, probably the greatest game, certainly the greatest RPG of the era, you know. But it's hard. I don't think there's any one game of all time.
Oh, Tech Brew Boss finally just showed up because of the notification on Discord. Man, hey, I'm sorry. I had to send it out because my OCD wouldn't let me because it was already typed in the box. But we do have to wrap up because I do have a promise to my boy here that we wrap up at 2 p.m.
Yeah. We're gonna go.
But I will be streaming over on Twitch a lot more this week.
Do it.
Because I have to. I have to get myself out of bed, even if it hurts. And because now I found out I got the beaties, and that's changed my entire outlook on life. Got a lot of other stressful shit going on, sadly, that I got to deal with. But that thing pulled focus real quick, and I've already made a lot of changes over the last 2 days. And so hopefully you guys see me a lot more active. I'm hoping once I see my doctor next week and the new insurance comes in, I'll be able to get my insulin to get my blood sugar under control. And then it's entirely possible that a lot of the symptoms I'm having just go away. Because it turns out like a lot of the symptoms I've had with fatigue, exhaustion, problems with my mouth, problems with some of my skin, it's all related to a high blood glucose level. And so if I get my blood glucose under control, it should like immediately fix a lot of that stuff. Not having to piss 24 times a day, might actually get to sleep through the night. I mean, I'm actually pretty excited. As bad of a diagnosis as it is to get, it's good to know, because there was a lot of shit we couldn't fix and we couldn't address, that we were trying stuff and it wasn't working. And it turns out that it's probably been diabetes this whole fucking time. So, but we'll get it. Hey, it's just another thing to overcome, and that's what I'll do. All right, you guys, you have yourself a wonderful weekend. Thank you, everybody. It supported. I apologize again for not sending out the notifications. I got completely sidetracked in the final moment. That's on me. But I'll make it up to you guys next week.
I have
all right.
one of those.
What do you got? Wait, what?
That's a sad sound.
Oh, I don't hear any sound on my side.
What?
Here, play it again. Why do I not hear
hold on.
that?
I think it's because audio source. We're gonna do that.
Yeah, try it again. I was like, what are you doing? There it is. Da-da, da-da. Oh, I think I got one too. I got sad trombone.
That's a good one.
All right, guys, take it easy. We'll see you next weekend. I'm gonna go get some sleep though, because I didn't sleep at all last night. I just stayed up with my eyes open. I could not get to sleep for some reason.